Welcome back to I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, stand-up comedy and lifestyle podcast I host out of my apartment. My name's David Bakker. It is the week of, what do we want to call it? January 31st / first week of February. Thank you for tuning in. It's still cold as balls outside and here in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm still annoyed. Just hunkered down here in this weekend. We do have a great guest today, and we do have some good local comedy. Before we did that, I wanted to get into the audience jokes. So the audience jokes, they're kind of dying off a little bit. I'm not sure if we're going to continue to do this, but last week, the word of the week was cucumber, and we had 2 jokes submitted. I don't even want to read this one from Ben Jennings. Ben Jennings said, "David, if you were a veggie, you'd be a cute cumber." It's pretty gay, Ben. Ben, damn it. Whatever. Ben's not gay, but I don't like that one. Scott F. also submitted a joke. Cucumber. I hardly knew her. All right, we may be disbanding this segment. In lieu of audience jokes, we actually have a special segment this week. Our very own Bill Reiner is going to be providing us with a toast review. This might also get voted down pretty quick. So here it is. Bill Reiner's toast review. Take it away, comedian Bill Reiner.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Bill's Toast Reviews. Today we're reviewing Publix Greenwise Fruit and Veggie Seeded Bread. It claims it's an excellent source of fiber. Today I toasted the bread on a 3. I typically toast on a 4 as I prefer a thicker slice of bread, usually about a 3/4 inch to a full inch thick. This is closer to about a 1/2 inch. Let's take a bite. That's unique. You can taste the seeds. I give this a solid 5 toasted breads out of 7 toasted breads. Like, comment, and subscribe for more toast reviews.
All right, that was Bill for a toast review. I don't know. I think that's hilarious. I don't really know what it is. Follow Bill for more of that. Bill Bowlful on Instagram, comedian Bill Reiner. He's also on an earlier episode, so check Bill out. Thanks a lot, Bill. Really spicing up our intro. All right, our guest today, Jacob Noland. Jacob is one of the new comics on the scene. He's one of my favorite new faces in Greenville comedy. This dude, he's a savage. All out savage. The first time I saw him on stage, I was like, holy crap. He's got a natural stage presence and confidence. I did not believe it was his first time on stage because he did so well, but he also goes hard. He's even rubbed some people the wrong way because he roasts people so hard. Sometimes I'll call him like our resident douchebag because, I can call him a douchebag to his face because he kind of is, but, he'll go edgy. Nobody's safe from his roasts. He's a brand new comic, but I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's a bottle cap salesman during the day. In this interview, we talked about his entrance into comedy. We talked about where the line is in comedy. Are there words you can or can't say? What his perspective is on that. What motivated Jacob start in comedy. He got pretty personal, sharing some sad personal stories that we all have. So some parts of that, but I was grateful that he was willing to share some of that. And we had a great conversation. So I hope you enjoy that. Before we get into the interview, though, here's what's going on this week in local comedy. This is mostly for people local to Greenville. So if you're not from here, feel free to skip ahead 2 minutes to the interview. Tonight, Coffee Underground, open mic, 7 o'clock, hosted by No Expectations Comedy, Craig Holcomb, Travis Thubbin. Get there a little bit before 7 to sign up. This Tuesday, we have the Taco Tuesday show, 8 o'clock at the Comedy Zone. $10 cover. This is a show with Ryan Rubin, Brad Deaton, Matt Addy, Ken Wood, and Chris Wilson. Show starts again at 8 o'clock. There will be $3 tacos and $5 margs. Very fun show, and this is please come out to support that, because I think this is something we might do more of, more comedy shows during the week. So come out, check that out. Wednesday, the Radio Room is back at 8 o'clock, hosted by Adam Schulte. Get there before 8 or message Adam to sign up, get on the list. There's usually a lot of people there, so make sure you get on the list early. Jokes Out Loud this Thursday, hosted by Brandon Rainwater at the Comedy Zone, 8 o'clock, $10 cover. And this weekend, Tyler Chronicles from MTV's Wildin' Out will be at the Comedy Zone. There's one show this Friday at 8 o'clock, one show Saturday, or two shows Saturday at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. All right, that's it for local comedy. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I hope you enjoy my interview with Jacob Noland. Here it is.
Which I'm sure there are, but amateurs? No.
What's up?
Hey, buddy.
Jacob Noland. Yeah. Who does improv their sets? Indeed.
Idiots. Why would you want to get up there and look like an idiot?
Who goes up on stage without a plan?
David Bakker.
No, Jacob Noland does.
Okay. All right.
No, we were just talking about Second City, the difference between improvisation and actual stand-up.
Big difference.
Now, when you're one of my favorite newish comics, dude, and I actually mean that. It feels like you improv a lot of stuff. You write a lot of stuff like within minutes of going up on stage.
Yes.
And you tend to roast the shit out of people.
I really enjoy it. That's my favorite part.
Have you always done that? Have you like
to my friends and family? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I've had several people say, "Hey, like people don't know that you mean that as a joke. They think you're being mean
in
or
your
rude."
family.
Not in my family, but like in friend groups. If I'm with a girl and she introduces me to her friend group, I just my natural reaction is to just do that. Okay. It's a funny thing.
Yeah.
But then they'll be like, "Hey, they don't know you're joking, so like don't do that." Like I think it's funny, but don't do that, you know?
So you've done this to like your girlfriend's friend group?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that what you are together anymore?
I've never had a girlfriend's friend group that liked me.
Really?
After the first meeting, you know?
Well, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny. I say stuff to make me laugh.
Yeah.
You know? Which I think is the only way you can judge funny in the first place.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I usually start there. And then if people laugh, then it works. But dude, yeah, you have like an edge to it, which I mean I find it hilarious out of the gate.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You are a month or two into stand up, right?
January 9th will be my second month.
I remember the first time I saw you on stage, and I was like, you had said it was your first time before, and I was like, dude, you're so full of crap. I did not believe it.
That is very generous.
Like the first time on stage, like describe it. Like you thought you did really well your first time.
I
right?
thought that I did okay. I should have done a lot better because me and my neighbors actually over the last few months had talked about, hey, you should go to the Radio Room. And so I didn't want to just go up there and do improv. So I was, whenever I would see a funny thing, I would write it down on my phone.
Okay.
So I had 4 or 5 ideas of things I could talk about, but I had not organized a structure or anything. And that's what I did at the Radio Room. I came in from a business trip and just wanted to watch because I didn't want to just show up and try. I thought,
a lot of people come early. And
I thought I had heard the Radio Room was a little bit more, not PC, but more alternative, and I didn't know if that would be my style. They
could be a little bit more wokey.
Right, but it was very open. It was very
Radio
good.
Room's super cool.
Yeah, everyone was very nice, and so I did it, and I thought I did okay. I got some laughs, but I didn't get anything crazy.
What were your first jokes? The 4 or 5 ideas you jotted down. Remind me.
Oh, man.
Do you do any of them anymore?
I really don't do much of them
Okay, that's fine.
anymore.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah,
because
I wish.
I like talking about
Oh, no, yeah. I
really
wish I could
ideas.
remember a lot of them. I made a joke about my neighbor being gay.
Okay.
He was straight, but my first joke was I found out something about my neighbor, and he said that he had this new girl, but he couldn't finish.
Okay.
He couldn't come, and they had sex like 5 or 6 times. And I was like, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just gay." And then he goes, "No, I think that I just need to be really connected to a person to reach climax. I said, "Oh, you're not gay. You're a woman." And that was fine. It
That's
was
a good
It
joke.
was fine.
That's a good
but,
joke.
You know, that was all I had. You know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm such an idiot, though. Would people think that's misogynistic?
Probably. Yeah.
I think it's kind of a compliment that women want to have a connection during sex.
Yeah, it's not
I don't
anything
know.
wrong, and it's not anything wrong to him to want to be connected to a person to
Oh,
climax.
you're not gay.
But-
You're a woman.
So one thing that made you laugh, because I remember your laugh.
Yeah, I'm obnoxious,
because
too.
I
I
said
laugh
I
way
just
too loud.
I was off the top of my head, so I just said, and I just think that's retarded because I could come having sex with my aunt, and you go like, "Oh my god, he said his aunt." Like I do remember that
Yeah.
part, but that was not. I cut all that out because that was just dumb. And so you guys were very nice and generous, and with your compliments.
Well, that was immediately following that.
Yeah.
That first show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like if you're on a roll with something, a dumb tag will work. Like,
Right.
Oh, fuck my hand.
Yeah. But you guys were very nice, and you encouraged me to come to the Comedy Zone the next night.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea. I had no plans of going, but that turned out to be my favorite set so far.
Okay.
Was at the Comedy Zone the next night.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, that
what-
was the best. That was my best set yet, in my opinion. Yeah.
What topics did you hit on that one?
Well, that was when the roasting came into play.
So you just started roasting people.
That night, I was sitting there and I was terrified because I was very motivated when I got home on Wednesday night to just rewrite everything, tighten it up, and put some structure in there so I could be confident the next night.
Right.
And then I got to stage, and Momo was nice enough to even say, "Hey, I'll put you on last." She didn't have to because I missed signups.
Okay.
And so I could just see things in the crowd, and I could see other comics, and I was like, "Oh, that would be kind of funny to roast this guy or that guy."
Yeah.
And so I just immediately went up there, and there was a guy there who, it wasn't his partner, but a guy sitting next to a woman who earlier in the show Brandon done crowd work on, and she said she owned her own business. And this guy that was wearing like a do-rag and a hoodie sat next to her. He came in late. And I was kind of scared because he wasn't really laughing a lot,
Yeah.
and I was worried he was going to be too serious
Yeah.
to pick on.
So was it a black dude and a
It was
white?
a black- it was a black guy and a
white-
black lady.
And a black lady.
Black
okay.
lady.
Yeah.
And so I said, I don't even remember what my first opening line was. Oh, my first opening line was there were 2 or 3 black guys, coincidentally, that had gotten played off because they went too long.
Oh yeah.
And Bill played them off. So my first line, as soon as I picked up the mic, was, "I would like to point out that Bill Reiner has not played off a single white comic tonight."
So you called Bill a racist?
And then, so the guy who I immediately went for,
Did he get a laugh out of that?
I got a
guy?
laugh.
Yeah.
And immediately after that, I turned to the black guy whose name was Juan Moore, which I didn't really understand, but I was like, "Give it up from the last comic up, Juan Moore." And I was like, the guy just wanted one more fucking minute on the stage, and that got more laughs, you know?
Yeah.
And he laughed. So I said, "Okay, he's safe." So I said, "I want to give you a props because you were smart. You found a woman who owned her own business and sat next to her." I said, "Back where I come from, that's what we call going from do-rags to riches." And, dude, he fell out of his chair. And so that was like, oh, man, that's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, right? And then I went into my story. You know.
Dude.
Yeah, it was great.
You're
It was
really
great.
quick with the wordplay off the
Right.
top of your head. I'm so I can't think of shit like that on the spot.
But I can't write material, so it's
Yeah,
a
you
trade-off.
can.
I'm working
You just
on it.
did. You just wrote it. I don't know. Maybe you're one of these comics that they always talk about that writes on stage. I can't figure out.
But I can't do it when I'm up there.
You
I
just
tried
did.
it. I mean, no, but I thought of these things right before I went up there.
okay, you wrote
I
those
can
down
think when I'm
before.
in the audience, but dude, if I'm on stage, I'll look at a girl or I'll look at a couple, and what I say is not as sharp.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to pick out a personal attribute of someone and
roast the
pick on
shit
it a little
out of
bit.
them.
But and everyone loves to be. I mean, everyone loves to be pointed out in the show. They want to be a part of it. For the most part.
That's true.
You're
Yeah,
at a
they
comedy
like,
show.
Yeah, that's a good point. They
Yeah.
like attention.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like malicious and they can tell you're kidding. Which
Right.
I think most people can.
Well, I would never say. And here's another thing. Another thing that made me feel safe was one more got up on the stage. So I feel like whenever you get on the stage, whether you're a comedian or an open micer, it's safe to say whatever you want to, as
Yeah.
long as it's in good taste and it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call an audience member, "Hey, look at you, fatty." I'm not going to say that at all
You can
because
do
I
that
want
if
the
they're
audience to love me.
disrespectful. You
Oh,
do
if they're
that-
disrespectful,
yeah,
I would
they're-
kill them. But
Mhm.
like last week, Jamal, Big Daddy Hater, shout out,
What up?
super nice guy. And I said, "Hey, man, it was so nice to meet you while you still have both of your feet." That was fine because he was a
Diabetes
comic.
joke.
That was a comic, a diabetes joke. Yeah, and he said that was the best fat joke he ever heard, which was great.
I don't know if this is the best one.
It's not the best one, but that's what he said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the best one he's heard about him. That's what he meant.
Yeah. Nobody would have the audacity.
Yes. I never
You didn't
asked.
know him. I was sitting next to him when he said that joke, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude!"
Yeah.
Jacob went there.
I never ask permission beforehand, but I do go up to them afterward and say, "Hey, I hope that was cool. Just so you know, I only meant it as a joke.
Yeah.
We're cool, right?" Because the first guy, the Do Rags to Riches guy, he came up to me after the show and asked to take a picture with me. So I was like, "Man, that was a great moment." This guy
And
saw
remind me,
that.
that guy was a comic or wasn't a comic.
I haven't seen him since, but he did
Okay.
get on the stage that night.
Oh, he did.
He did get on the
Maybe
stage that
Was it
night.
like his first time or something?
It was his first time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Do rags to riches.
Yeah, but that was a good moment for me because I was like, okay, so
Is that a lyric? Is that a common lyric? Or did you?
I don't think so. I know Rags to Riches.
Rags to Riches,
Rags to Riches is
obviously.
popular, but he was
Rags
wearing a
to
do
Riches.
rag.
No, I
so
know,
I
I
didn't
know.
think it would be racist if he wasn't wearing a do rag and I said do rags to riches. It might be a little more racial.
Oh yeah,
But he was wearing a do rag.
It doesn't even make sense if he wasn't wearing one.
Exactly. So yeah, but that was a good moment for me because I was like, okay, a lot of people do enjoy this.
Yeah,
I
that
should
was
keep
all
trying
safe.
to do
That
it.
was all hilarious. That was
Yeah.
all punching up and everything.
And so I did that every time from then on.
Yeah, dude.
The 6 times that I've been on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty incredible. You've only been on stage 6 times and you have the confidence that you have.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely
What scares you about Coffee Underground?
Since we're going to be honest. By the way, we should have said this as soon as we got on. Cunt.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Coffee Underground, speaking of cunts.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
Jacob likes the word cunt. Yeah.
Some people are cunty.
I've never
It's
I
fine
agree.
to say cunt. But
Yeah.
anyways,
The ship has sailed on the family friendliness
right.
of this podcast a long time ago. So
Right.
Cunt.
Coffee
It's fun.
Underground is a great room.
I love it, dude.
People love it, and you really brag about it, and I'm glad you do.
I don't brag about it, but I think it's the second best stage.
Right. I think it's the third best. I like Comedy Zone, and then I think Radio. I'm more comfortable at Radio Room because it was my first place.
Yeah.
I'll always have a connection to Radio Room.
Yep. And Comedy Zone was
me
my first
personally.
place.
Yeah.
It's like your first
But
girl.
I still call that girl, but I think that
You still-
Coffee Underground has a different audience than the Comedy Zone does, and the Comedy Zone has a different audience than Radio Room does.
Yeah.
And Jim Jeffries isn't going to do well at a all women's Bible study meeting.
No.
Different style, but Tim Hawkins, Christian comedian, would murder at a women's Bible study retreat.
Yeah.
My style of comedy, from what I've gathered, I don't think that's the right room. I'm not the right person for that
disagree.
room. I'm not the right person for that room. I'm not going to blame the room.
No.
I'm blaming me because
No,
I could be funnier, and I could do different material and be funny in that room. And that's nothing against them.
No.
I'm saying it's against me.
This isn't. I think that's a take of. Yeah, you could be funny in that room.
I should have the balls to go
You should
try it
just-
again.
You should just do it.
Yeah. I should have-
You
I
got to
should
go
have the
back
balls
to
to
the
do it.
rooms that you f up in.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like, trying to act like a know-it-all, but yeah, dude, they're it's funny, they all have different vibes and stuff.
Right.
But when you can just embrace whatever environment,
Of course, and you should be able to do that.
because there's a lot of shitty environments to do stand up in with a lot worse in terms of distractions and
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
bars and-
the Toys for Tot show.
Mhm.
I was a little worried. I was like, it's because I was like, that's a neighborhood restaurant bar.
Mhm.
I don't even know if they're gonna like the kind of stuff that people are saying. But man, and there's distractions. There's people at the bar not even paying attention. There's people walking back and forth. But you guys killed it. But I was scared. I was like, I'm not gonna do well. I'm not gonna try it, which is weak. I should be strong enough in my confidence to do that. But sometimes the worst places are where you just surprisingly do the best.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, you never know. And you can do bad in the same exact venue, just
Right.
depending. Like, yeah.
I mean, I've done
So it makes it like a high wire act every time.
well. I've done good at Comedy Zone. I've done terrible at Comedy Zone. Same venue, But I also think, and this is something that a couple of my friends that are comics say, like, oh, I've had such a bad day. I've had a really bad week. I don't want to go to Radio Room this week or Comedy Zone.
Who says that?
People. And
People we would know.
Yeah, like other comics.
Oh.
Other comics. And I'm like, man, I will never let myself do that only because of my first set at the Comedy Zone. The whole day leading up, half the day leading up to the Comedy Zone, I found out something.
Tell me about it.
I
Are
found
you
out-
cool talking about
I'm
this?
cool. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
My ex who had moved out 3 weeks earlier,
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks earlier, I found out that she had already moved on.
Okay.
And it was with someone that I kind of suspected maybe it was going on towards the end of our relationship.
So did this drive you to get on stage the next day after your first set, or was this
That was
already
the
something
day-
you kind of knew at Radio Room your first?
No, had no idea.
Oh,
And then
dang.
I had a conversation at lunchtime on Thursday,
Okay.
and I was broken. I almost didn't even go back
dude.
to work the rest of the day. I was crying. I was
You were crying?
I was crying.
Dang,
yeah, I mean,
Jacob,
this
a little
is
softy.
well. This is
I didn't know you.
This is 5 years and an engagement. I mean, it's very serious, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So even for me, it was. I mean, someone's got to break, but I was crying. I was sick I was sick.
Y'all were engaged?
Engaged for a year, yeah, and lived together the whole shebang. But I was so sick, and I was like, I don't want to hear anyone be funny. I don't want to try to be funny. I'm not in that mindset.
Yeah.
But man, like an hour or two before the show, I was like, dude, you tell people all the time, don't let other people influence your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I showed up, and I was still scared the whole night of leading up to it. But man, once I hit the stage, like once my foot hit the steps,
Yeah.
I was free of everything that had happened in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I just went green light.
Yeah.
And that was the best feeling.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's not therapy,
Yeah.
but man, it's my time of freedom.
Sure.
For 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever set I get. That's
Yeah.
why I'm always going to do it, because you can sit at home every night,
Yeah.
but 2 nights a week or 3 nights a week, you can go to open mic.
Yeah.
You got 4 or 5 other nights to sit at home and be alone.
Yeah.
You go, and I was like, just do it
Yeah.
for yourself, not for anyone else.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
I understand what other comics are saying, like, "Oh, I don't feel like going because I had a bad day." But I've kind of come around to your kind of line of thinking in terms of, it's always better when you go and do it. It's always better.
Yeah.
If you sit at home, like if you have a bad day and if you sit at home and you don't go, it's like it only makes it worse.
Yeah.
It might seem like it'd be, but it's it's kind of like working out. Like you feel like you don't really feel like getting ready and going out and doing it, but
Certainly. You're dang
Yeah.
right. And the tough thing about Comedy Zone is you have to sign up on Sunday for a show on Thursday. So what I find myself doing is, if I have a bad set on Thursday at the Comedy Zone, I'm depressed for like a little while. I'm like, dang, that was just awful. What am I even doing? I've only been doing this for a month, but like I feel like I should be better, right? So I'm like, man, that sucked, dude. Don't even show up next week. But when Sunday comes around, I make myself sign up, because guess what? On Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to be so pumped to have the opportunity to get on stage.
right.
And even if I don't want to go Thursday, I'm like, I'll just go do some new stuff at Radio Room. And then you kill at Radio Room, then you still missed your opportunity for Thursday.
Right.
So like, force yourself to say yes, and
Yeah.
then your rise to the occasion when the day comes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I've always felt.
Yeah, and you just take the weight of the decision off of your plate. You already decided.
Yeah. Hey man,
Yeah.
it's time to nut up or get out of the way.
Yeah,
You know?
and if you just add it to your routine, like I know on Monday I'm going to Coffee Underground. I know on Tuesday I'm going to try and go to Columbia if that's available or whatever.
For sure.
else.
I'm glad you guys go other places. That's a really big deal.
No, yeah, you should. You should definitely, because then you figure out like even different crowds and random crowds and like how all your stuff works in all different kinds of situations.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you figure out what crap works and what doesn't.
Well, you're right, because one thing that I'm thinking about is, I'm funny around my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I may be funny at Radio Room because it's a small enough crowd, a lot of the same people.
People
but,
are already starting to know you too.
Right. But nobody knows who I am in Columbia, and I
Yeah.
have to adapt to a different crowd, but also I have to win them over.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about comedy. And also at Comedy Zone, it's a totally different crowd every week, which still blows my mind. There's hardly ever the same people that show up at Comedy Zone,
Yeah.
audience-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to earn the laughs. You have to win them over before you do hard hitting crap like I do sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I think if you do the same,
which means you can do material. You can do the same material at Comedy Zone.
Exactly.
Like you'll notice we do a lot of the same stuff.
That's a great point.
Comedy Zone,
and you can work it out and tweak it at Comedy Zone.
You can. I mean, I usually try to tweak it ahead of time, but
right.
But yeah, I like Comedy Zone because, to your point, it's kind of like a blank slate with new people.
Yeah,
which is such a blessing.
It really is
such a blessing
such
to
a
have
great
it at
stage.
a club, to have a comedy club here.
It's a great stage.
You forget that because, like, dude, people from Atlanta drive 2.5 hours just to go do that. That's why, like, I think Brandon, he was just on, and I was excited that he seems to be. I mean, he's touring now and stuff, but like now that he's back, when he is back in town, he wants to like elevate, the level of and how seriously we're taking that mic, to make sure that when you get on stage at a paid mic like Comedy Zone, like make sure you're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And then we have other comics coming in that like haven't been there in a while, like Adam Schulte came, and like all the other senior comics I think want the new rookie comics like us to get better.
I think so.
So yeah, it's because it's we're lucky to have that stage.
Very
and the
much.
other ones really. I mean, dude, Coffee Underground, like that mic, it's gonna be popping. Like it already starting to come back, but like before the pandemic, everybody tells me that mic was packed.
Wow,
like every week. And that mic you can kill there because there's it's such a small little venue, and there's like everybody's packed in.
It is really close.
So
I like that.
If you get that mic rolling and all your jokes are hitting, it's like it's really cool.
I like that a lot.
It's kind of like Laughing Skull, which, by the way,
man, I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. Next Tuesday, I'm so excited.
Okay,
that's like it's a huge platform, I should say.
Yeah,
not a huge stage, not a huge venue. It's a huge platform. Like, I mean, you could say, "Hey, I went to the Laughing Skull."
That's great. It feels like a big stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I don't want to say it's like the Comedy Cellar of Atlanta, but it's a very big, popular club in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's weird. I was just at the Comedy Cellars.
I remember that.
Watching, so I want to compare the Laughing Skull to the Comedy Cellar. It's the shape of it is different.
Yeah.
In the Comedy Cellar, when you go down, like you go down the steps, and it's like long. The stage is on one side, and it's like a long rectangle around it, but it doesn't go back very far.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I don't know if people can tell what I'm pointing at, but is you're on the stage looking out, like the back of the room's pretty close, and then it's wider to the left and the right. Laughing Skull's the opposite. It goes, if you're standing on the stage, it's kind of narrow, but you look back and there's like
nice
stadium seating back there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes back straight like a tooth versus Comedy Cellar's more like a long rectangle. But and then I think Comedy Cellar has lower ceilings because it's a basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I think Laughing Skull arguably has better acoustics than Comedy Cellar.
That's
I don't
cool.
know. Pretty similar, actually, but
I mean, when I think of the Comedy Cellar, I think of New York. Or when I think of New York, I think of the Comedy Cellar. And I just mean like they have shows most nights of the week, and it's just packed out every time. That's kind of what I was comparing it to in my mind.
Oh, sure. In terms of like a regular comedy club,
that's what I'm excited
about. There's a
about.
bunch in New York that are sweet.
Mm-hmm. But man, I think it's another thing of like forcing myself to say yes, because I'm not good enough to go somewhere and do anything. I'm not.
You're not? Why?
I'm just not. I'm an idiot. I don't have any material. I can roast people. Okay, I'm not going to roast people in Atlanta that don't know me, because I feel like it was nice you guys at least met me before I talked about a couple of you.
Yeah.
But and if I don't do it well enough, I'm going to come across as an asshole, and then I might not be able to come back. So I'm trying to have a tight set of material to do when I go there. But it's another thing of forcing myself to say yes, because if you're just doing a fucking mic in a birthday card shop for 12 years, and you and your 3 friends think that all of you guys are the greatest around, you have no idea.
Right.
Because you haven't made yourself go other places.
Yeah.
And you may not even be funny.
Yeah.
Which I'm not talking about a particular person. I'm just talking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I try to gauge myself in the future, like, hey, this is what you should not do. Even though I don't have an example of that, I'm just saying make yourself have a broad net, in comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. No names.
What's that?
No names.
No names? Oh, what do you mean?
I'm
like
just
people
kidding.
that aren't doing that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough. Life happens. I mean, the question gets asked a lot. Like, would you want to move to like a bigger city to do comedy?
Right.
I think I would.
Mhm.
I absolutely think I would.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't know though. New York seems like exciting, but also kind of, I don't know, especially post pandemic. It seems kind of bleak. You been to New York City before?
Never been to the city.
You haven't?
Never been to the city.
It's weird, man.
I'd love to go.
New York City's weird. It seems small, in a sense. Like if you fly into the airport at LaGuardia, you can see the whole island. From Central Park all the way down to the Empire State Building and where the World Trade Center used to be, and you can see it all. And when you get down on the street level, all the streets are real narrow. And there's not alleyways, and it's just buildings, and everything kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
So you got to just look at the street signs to get your way around, and it's cold, and there's like the hustle and bustle of everybody going a certain place, and nobody really looking at each other, or giving a shit. Like nobody says hi to each other, like cares, because everybody's like,
That's weird.
And there's like a weird New York ego thing, I think, too. I have a friend, her name's Maddie. She's really great. She lived in New York for a while. And she says everybody who lives in New York kind of secretly thinks they're the star of their own movie.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I have an ego, too, so I'd be like, oh, man.
I'd be like,
here's David trying to make it in the city.
I should have lived in New York. This is weird.
Man, my whole world secretly revolves around me.
There's just less movies in Greenville, being played.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. I never really thought of it that way.
So there's all that, but that's just part of the glamour and kind of the cool part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have a hard time picturing actually living there. Like the day to day of like, oh God, I gotta get on the subway again. It's cold as shit. Like,
yeah. Like Liz said that she hadn't driven a car in 10 years.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah,
Not driving.
Liz is from New York /
Well, she's from Connecticut and moved to New York after college.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so Liz sucks at driving. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, I thought she sucked at driving because she's a woman, but what do you call it? It definitely got worse.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That's a double whammy. New
I
York
said it.
and-
David didn't
and-
say it.
Yeah.
Women
I
are
was
bad
gonna say
drivers.
it if you did. Oh, no. Liz actually, I remember, it's funny you mentioned her because she, she hasn't done the podcast yet, actually. But I remember her first time on stage. She was a natural.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She looks comfortable.
She had this kind of spunky vibe to her and was very, she just talked about the differences between New York and Greenville and how she didn't have a car, and she mentioned stuff like that. And she just did it in a way that like this spunky, sarcastic delivery.
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
keep saying the word spunky, but
Well,
yeah.
she kind of shocks you with how, I don't know if it's not intellectual. It's not like, it's very witty, but it's kind of shocking how good she is at, verbal chess. Like, I feel like the whole time you're having a conversation with her, she's playing mental chess with you.
Really?
And seeing if you're smarter than her or not. In
Really?
a funny way. But that's one reason why she's, attractive in that way, is because you want to be challenged by someone.
You were on a date with her, weren't you?
I was not on a date with her at all. No, I didn't mean
Verbal chess.
verbal chess.
On a date.
Yeah, we were not on a date. No,
Just
not
to
at
get
all.
to know you.
Yeah, just as like I saw her perform one time, and I roasted her, and she liked it.
So you asked her out as colleagues?
No. I said, here's what happened. I had not talked to her. Let's and then she kind of came. She messaged me the other day during the whole cunt issue.
Oh,
And she came and said, hey, listen, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I like the locker room talk is what she had communicated. And so I said, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And so
okay.
we were cool. We had a couple messages back and forth about our
Yeah.
opinions on it. And I said, hey, listen, you seem like a like-minded, person. Let's bounce some ideas off each other and talk about comedy. So I didn't want to frame it as anything personal more than just us bouncing ideas of comedy,
Sure.
and to get to know her a little bit because she is intriguing,
Yeah.
And I did propose to her afterwards, and she said no. So, but I do think that she would do the podcast. But I think when she walked in the door, she would have like deja vu, because I know last time she was here, I think she was almost unconscious all the way.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
So once
dude.
she saw the ceiling
Dear Lord.
and the bathroom floor,
Dear
she would
Lord,
probably.
This is not true.
She would remember that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Date.
Liz and I used to go on some music.
Rapist.
Liz and I used to date a little, but I did not roofie her. You
Okay,
asshole.
I didn't say roofie. I didn't name a specific drug.
What else? What other conclusion could one reach from unconscious staring at the ceiling?
I mean, false intentions. I don't know. Can we just edit the whole Liz part out?
No, we're
Fine.
keeping it in. This podcast is too small, and this is sufficient.
And I'm the only one that's going to watch this episode.
No, you're not. No, people watch it. I think as long as we didn't. I took 2 weeks off during the holidays, so
Nice.
hopefully people don't tune out.
No. You definitely deserve a little break.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes it fun. I actually think Jacob's not a misogynist, so it's fine. I kind of think I don't know what's going
That's
on
hilarious.
next door.
They're listening to the Rogan podcast.
Are they?
That's
They're
the
listening
intro.
to. They're listening
That's
to
the
Joe.
intro. Yeah.
Are they trolling us? Or are they actually listening to Joe Rogan on like?
Hey, Jamie,
freaking-
can you look something up for us, please?
Hey, yeah.
Is that all right?
Hey, go ahead, look that up, Jamie.
That's the legit intro for Joe Rogan podcast.
hits blunt. Yeah. Hits the bull.
Do you have any?
Pull that up, Jamie?
Do you have any elk meat by chance?
I don't have any elk meat or what is
DMT.
DMT.
Every
yeah.
podcaster doesn't eat elk meat and do DMT.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but I was gonna say, like, obviously everything you say is sarcastic and kidding, and I do think it's kind of funny to talk about, other comics and our interactions.
Yeah.
Most people who listen to this, like, are local, so
Of course. Well, I think that I guess I don't know how to communicate it while I'm doing it, but everything I say is out of love. I mean, I could say the worst thing about you, but I love you guys.
Yeah.
Like we're all amateur open mic comics trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want you to do less great than I want Chris Wilson to do less great or whatever. I want all of us to do as great as we can.
I want Chris to suck more.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I
But
wish
he is good, dude.
Chris, I've never seen Chris have a bad set. I've only seen him a few times, but he makes me laugh every single time, and I really like it. And he's a great person too.
I want to like dissect his approach because yeah. Chris Wilson, who was also on the podcast earlier, he's got cerebral palsy and
that makes him way funnier.
It does. It does. I don't know why I just said that. That's not his identity.
It's his
He
identity.
talks about it in his act though.
Yeah.
And then he's got this swag and he just seems very happy doing comedy. I think. Yeah.
His left arm is so lazy it got a stimulus check last year.
Does his left arm have issues?
It's his left or his right. I don't know which
Okay.
one, whichever one. Sorry, Chris.
No.
Chris is the sweetest
great.
guy. We
He's
hang
great.
out.
He's one of the best early on that I've seen. So,
But he really shows a lot of more substance because instead of only telling funny stories and good jokes, he even wrote a poem that was like 25 lines long about Adam. And it was great. That was a great 2 minutes of his set at Radio Room one night. And I was like, that's impressive that you had that range because I'm trying to write jokes. I don't really have a lot of stories. But I cannot sit down and write a poem that long. I mean, it was a 25-line poem.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
About Adam Schulte.
he's a smart guy. He's
Yeah.
really smart, and he's one of the sweetest guys in the comedy scene too.
Yeah.
Hand jobs suck, but I really like Chris as a guy, only as a friend.
I thought hand jobs might be good because of the tremor.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
No. We're all kidding. But yeah, he also does those comics that cracked me up.
He's a great memester.
He's a memester.
A memester.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about other people.
Let's talk about us. That's why
talk
we're doing a
let's talk
podcast.
let's talk about.
We're talking about us. We don't care about these other fucks.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
No. So you like Zach Galifianakis? You said
I love
Two
Zach
Ferns?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Every single one of his movies, his Live at the Purple Onion
Yeah.
special was great.
Yeah.
His responses and his quick responses to late night host and interviews, everything about him, I think, is just
Yeah,
genius.
his awkward delivery and timing, and then all of a sudden he turns into like a savage
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Like he doesn't consistently, he's not always like a incompetent boob. He's like
Right.
My favorite joke from that, the one that I remember from that purple Buffalo?
The Purple Onion.
Purple
It's a
Onion.
club in North Carolina.
Yeah. when he talks about his last name, and it's beautiful because it starts with the gal and ends with the kiss. It's like, that's great. Can we change it to Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah. Well, in that special, he goes, I'm named after my grandpa. And he goes, my name is Zach Grandpa Galifianakis. But, like, that's what makes him so funny.
So stupid.
But, like, one of his jokes was he was on late night with, maybe it was David Letterman, but he's doing piano. And he uses his piano as a timing mechanism, which makes him even more brilliant. But he's doing his piano thing, and he goes, you're an alcoholic when the bartender knows your name.
Right.
And then he pauses and he goes, and you've never even been to that bar. And I'm like, that's just a funny joke, It's simple. It's easy.
Like, how would he know?
Because he has a reputation of being such a bad alcoholic.
Right.
But it's just funny. It's just funny. I don't know. I have a weird sense of humor, obviously.
No, you don't. Zach Galifianakis is famous, so it's not that weird.
Right.
If nobody liked him, it'd be weird.
Yeah, like David Baker. If I like David Baker, that would be weird. That would be weird.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Yeah. That's about as niche as you get. That's real underground, bro.
For sure. Yes.
Who is your favorite comic? Is it Zach?
No, I've always been inspired by Daniel Tosh and Jimmy Carr.
Okay.
And
is Jimmy Carr the British guy?
He's the British guy.
Does he have a new special out right now?
I don't think he's done anything new. I think it's like 2018, maybe 2019.
Oh shit.
He's been out for a while. But
okay.
And maybe they're not my favorite, but their style is my favorite.
Daniel Tosh.
Yeah, just their style. It's not mean, but it's those types of jokes. Mm-hmm. And I like Jimmy Carr because obviously his jokes are that way too, but he does such a good job of yelling out to the audience or allowing a heckler and then just fucking obliterating their asses every special. And he does it on a special. It's not like he's doing it as silly crowd work on when he's working on new stuff. That's part of his act.
Yeah.
Is just killing hecklers.
Yeah.
So I mean those are two ones that I would look up to, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the
I think there's a taint here in my mic.
Yeah. These I brought these mics home to Michigan for the holidays. I was gonna maybe record an episode, didn't end up doing that. So these are like in my backpack, rolling around. I don't know why there's hair in my backpack. But yeah, these I've seen better days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got some on my mic too. No, but I like the Savage guys too, man. There's something about just going edgy as hell. There's this book that I've read a little bit of called Playfully Inappropriate. It's a comedy book. And the theory in that book is that like what makes a joke funny is there's a violation, which is the awful shit you say. Mm-hmm. And there's safety. It's couched in safety. And the overlap of the safety and the violation is what creates the humor.
Okay.
So, like, you being a savage and roasting the shit out of somebody is funny. Like, the bigger the violation couched in this, like, I think the funnier it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as long as people know you're kidding.
Certainly.
So, I think Tosh, like, just, has mastered that. And, it also kind of made me realize when you think about comedy in that way, like how ridiculous it is to be offended by shit. If you see it on a special where you can hear other audience members laughing, if you understand comedy in that context, you have to be a freaking idiot to not understand that, like, if it's working in that room, clearly everybody is on the same page.
Right.
This is not literal truth, literal facts that he believes personally.
And
you know what I mean?
And you are somewhat disconnected watching a special versus being in the room.
Yeah.
But here's another thing. If you're watching a special, especially if you're an audience member at a paid show, like at a Jimmy Carr show or a Ron White show, you're a Ron White fan. You're also kind of a student of his work, of his body of work. You've seen all of his specials or some of his specials.
Right.
You're not going to be shocked. When he tells you a joke about that.
No, you don't know him, but you know him
absolutely
as an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know him pretty well.
Yeah. And so it's like the people that got offended about any of the Dave Chappelle crap or any comic ever, I guarantee you they didn't watch the whole special.
Yeah.
And they certainly don't know his whole body of work. So they took one clip out of context, and that was what they based their opinion off of.
Right.
And it's just not that's not how comedy works at all. I would like to give another shout out. Roast in peace. My favorite roaster of all time, Greg Giraldo.
Did he die?
He died. Yeah, I think it was an overdose, and I think he was only 33.
Oh,
but he was my favorite roaster of all time.
Yeah. Do you like the comedy roast?
I love the comedy roast.
Obviously,
I've seen every one of them.
You're good at roasting people.
I've seen every one of them.
Yeah.
I watched the old ones because I used to be a big Don Rickles fan.
Okay.
Love Don Rickles.
Yeah.
And so I would watch the Dean Martin roast.
Okay. That's old school.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anything that I do, whether it's golf or pool or whatever, and especially comedy, I do my best to become a student of it.
Yeah.
And I learn everything that I possibly can throughout a broad range of it.
Don Rickles, golf, and pool. You're like an old man.
I am an old man.
And a 24-year-old.
Including the dress code.
Yeah. You're rocking khakis and a vest.
Yeah, and it turns out I can't get hard but 3 times a year. So, same thing. Yeah. I apologize.
You got a Cialis regimen?
Yeah.
Cialis for daily use? You know they have that now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I left 2 in Liz's car, though. I could be wrong.
Because you didn't end up needing them?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, sorry about
That's
that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
I used 3, and I'd already taken it before I went inside, so I just jerked off in my car and left the other 2.
Jacob Noland, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me on, pal.
No, it's just good. So you're a student of the game. Now you were doing other stage performances too. Remind me, was it acting that you did?
No, yes. My freshman year of college, I was asked, "Hey, will you be the?" This is obviously not a Broadway production. This is just a very small school play.
Right.
Like, hey, will you try out for this lead role? And it was a very small thing.
What was the play?
It was, I don't even know the name of the play, but it was like a Western type of play.
So you were playing a cowboy?
I was playing a cowboy, and I had to be an asshole.
I would lose my shit if I saw you playing a cowboy.
I had to be an asshole to the girl at the beginning of the play, and middle away we had kind of started connecting, and by the end of it we were in love and getting married.
Yeah.
So I had to change throughout the show, the whole thing. But that's nothing. I had 0 experience, and I never was asked to do it again. So that tells you how good I did.
No. Be honest. Did people like your performance?
They liked it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't anything great.
I don't want you to be overly modest though. I feel like that's a perfect role for you. And actually, that story arc is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You see it a lot. The woman who kind of resists the man at first because he's a dick.
Right.
That masculine energy is. I think it's kind of. Some people miss it, younger. I'm trying to. Hopefully, it don't sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about because I don't. Mm-hmm. But young guys could think okay, this is how you get girls. You just be a dick.
Yeah.
It's not just that,
for
but
sure.
It's this kind of indifference and kind of giving them a hard time and that gruff,
right,
rugged outlaw type. So the 2 examples I can think of off the top of my head are Star Wars. So Harrison Ford and Princess Leia eventually end up together. Okay. But when they first meet, Han Solo is this brash, arrogant asshole. Mm-hmm. He kind of says, Leia, you're so into me, you don't even know, blah, blah, blah. Have you seen Star Wars?
Never.
What?
Never.
Okay, well, that's going to ruin this. I thought everybody'd seen Star Wars.
Everyone that's watching this has seen Star Wars.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Han, has an arc where he kind of starts as an asshole, like your character sounds like did, and then by the end he has these redeeming qualities. Plus Leia was always attracted to him, and as opposed to Luke, who was always the good guy, he wasn't really that interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's this James Bond, kind of a dick
for sure.
Gets the girl. He's fearless, pursuing his mission.
Yeah.
Despite anything else, and that strong masculine core wins her over eventually.
That's a good point.
You shouldn't just be a dick, but
you're right. I think that maybe women don't necessarily like rude people. That's true, but I do think that a lot of women like a guy who's willing, he's honest, and he'll be himself because he's not scared to make you upset, and then you won't like him. So he's not just going to be a nice little angel the entire time before he says, "Hey." He's going to, "Hey, this is my personality, and if you don't like it, I'm not going to cry about it."
Yeah.
They kind of like that. He's not.
Well, yeah. I think the thing that that makes the guy attractive is because what you don't want to do is just fall all over yourself to kiss her ass and
Yeah.
be like, oh, like, well, how could I? That projects weakness.
Right. It does.
She's like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. I haven't done anything to warrant your affection. Why are you obsessed with me?
That's a great point. And
Like-
I've always had a problem with that.
Like when the woman is in love later, then you can dote all over her, but
Yeah.
don't do it early because they'll be like, this is so out of sequence.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't. Like you don't know me.
No,
So what are you doing?
I've had a problem with that.
You have an attachment to me without any sort of basis.
Exactly.
So like it's better if you can kind of be like, look, I can hang with you. I'm not afraid of you. I
Mm-hmm.
like you. I'll give you crap. I'll flirt with you.
Right.
But I'll go my own way in a second if you're not into it. That's fine.
Yeah.
And if you can be indifferent like that, and that kind of can come across as being a little bit of a dick. But it's not all you're doing.
Well, I wish
It's
I had
just
more
like
of
being
that.
strong, confident, centered in who you are, doing your own thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Easier said than done. Very
Totally.
much easier said than done.
Listen, I mean, if you
'Cause
saw
beautiful
me,
women can disarm even the strongest guy. It's amazing. A beautiful woman, dude, can
They're-
like make any guy turn to jello
They're
in a
am-
second.
they're amazing.
It's so funny. You can see it happen in public.
Mhm.
A beautiful woman walks into a room. Most guys are like, "Ooh."
yeah,
They don't know what to
absolutely.
do. They don't
No.
know what to do. And me included. I
terrifying.
still inside like fuck, dude. How could I possibly say something? Like I still feel that way. And a lot of times I'll pussy out and not say anything. But
Yeah. What
I
are you
just
supposed
know
to say?
enough about.
Yeah. I don't like the whole app thing has kind of changed the game. 5 years ago, I saw a girl.
Dating apps you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a girl sitting on a couch at a house party, and I sat down next to her, which was dumb because she was way out of my league. I sat down next to her and started talking to her.
Uh-huh.
That was my fiance. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been good at an opening line, and I'm not good at an app where I think it's all a game.
Apps sucked.
I think it's a game. Like, oh, if this guy just says, "Hey, thanks for matching with me," or "Hey," period. Oh, that's not exciting enough. They got to have me some crazy one-liner that they're going to woo me with.
Yeah.
I'm not playing that game.
To me, it's
You
too
know?
structured. It's like too. Like,
It is.
you
It is.
know, It's like arranged. Even when you sit down for the date. I had a Hinge date last weekend, and
A Hinge date. What are you, gay?
Hinge.
Hinge?
Are you familiar with Hinge?
I know. You're like people that are definitely trying to get married.
I'm 33, bro. I mean, I should be. Never mind. This date went horrible anyway, so it's like.
Because she was on Hinge.
No, it didn't go horrible. I was just bored instantly, and she didn't like me. Like she was tripped out by me and like my freaking haircut. And
Really?
I don't know. I could just tell I wasn't her cup of tea, and she wasn't mine. It was like,
But it wasn't a looks thing. I mean, she matched with you, so it was all.
well, yeah,
this
but I have other
connection.
pictures on there. I don't know.
I got you.
It was just like too. It made too much sense in one way.
Okay,
Like she was like the type that like my parents would be thrilled to bring home.
a black girl.
I would love to bring home a black girl actually.
Okay.
But no, it was she was a at one point she said I have to be home so I can teach Sunday school in the morning. My parents would love that.
Good girl.
Yeah. But I just was like yeah. You know.
So what you mean is someone's gonna come looking for this girl tomorrow about 10 o'clock in the morning. This is not my type. I need a girl that no one knows,
I'm looking for somebody
doesn't have a roommate,
no
or a job, or family close
or
by.
any family ties. So he hasn't heard from her parents in 5 years.
That's awesome.
No, it
Liz.
it was just too like not exciting. I
That's
don't know.
interesting.
I don't know.
You kind of weird me out sometimes though, because
I do?
because I don't know you, and like I think we could be having a totally normal conversation, and then you just space out, and I'm like, did I say something wrong? Did I uninterest him already?
I'm introverted. If I hit
Yeah.
a wall of social interaction, I'll just like stop talking and
Right.
be like, and I'll be thinking about stuff. And
Yeah.
usually it's stuff like it's selfish and just like I don't know, like stuff like comedy wise or or just like I gotta go to bed or I gotta
For sure.
I don't know. I think introverts do that. Like I have to fake energy for social interactions, and then after a while, I get drained, and then I got to go be alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my New Year's resolutions too, is to go see a therapist. I got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gone to therapy?
I never have.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I never have either.
I've
So-
been to a, I did go to a counselor before with a partner,
Oh yeah.
just once. So I mean, but I've never been to individual therapy.
Was that with your fiance?
That was a long time ago with my fiance while we were
Yeah.
still just dating.
Yeah, that's highly
Yeah.
recommended. I think
Absolutely.
That'd be good. Probably.
Well, it was
Figure out
definitely useful.
how to like fight and be compatible and
Well, one thing that I
sustain
like is in comedy and your job, in a sport, in a hobby, whatever, you should always appreciate and want advice from folks that are older than you. Only
Yeah.
because they're farther down that road. Maybe they can save you some obstacles along the way.
yeah.
I would love to sit down with Brandon for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And, just to, or maybe not sit down with him, just be with him for a little while and see how he responds to things and see how he works and what his process is.
Yeah.
Because he's farther down the road
Sure.
than I am.
Totally.
I mean, that's just how I've always been. And so counseling kind of did that for me.
Totally.
Because obviously if you care about someone, you don't want to just do everything trial and error. It would be nice to kind of ask someone questions and then kind of tell you what the answers are instead of you hurting someone while you're learning something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Brandon has a workshop this Thursday, by the way.
Okay.
It's about social media and marketing yourself, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Free.
Yeah.
For anybody. This won't go up in time for people to see it, but just in general,
Yeah.
Comedy Zone people, Brandon is doing the mentorship thing.
I think you have to pay him in crypto.
Did you have to pay him in crypto?
Yeah, so it's free, cash wise.
Badass, dude.
Yeah.
You own any crypto?
No,
No.
no,
Yeah, I do. As a hedge.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
No,
you
I think
should
crypto,
you should diversify.
Crypto is a big enough deal to where if it blows up, I mean, it's not a bad idea to have some.
Absolutely, no. You should have it. It's diversification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
So you want to go to therapy this year?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I've always self-medicated with therapy. I like.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of like, there's a heck of a lot on YouTube. You can just Google like, I'm experiencing this feeling,
For sure.
and then there's like 80 experts, 50 million TED Talks on like
Yeah.
anxiety or self-doubt or
Mhm.
all this stuff, and all that, man. I think that's freaking great. I am so happy to be like kind of an adult in the age of YouTube and
It's amazing.
information.
I watch
It's
almost
incredible,
nothing
dude.
but YouTube,
Yeah.
and I
You can
have
get
done some of
anything
those
on
videos.
YouTube, dude.
Yeah.
It's like making college degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say obsolete. It's good to go to college still for like a lot of the skills and habits you develop if you're at a good college and they're not teaching you freaking nonsense.
Right.
It's good to get a degree, but like you can learn so much shit on YouTube now.
Well, I think there's almost no point in learning certain memorization things or certain bullshit about like who's the 13th president, because you have that answer in your pocket at all times.
Oh yeah. The value of rote memory.
Why
of
am I
certain facts.
wasting my brain space on this when I have all of this right here?
Yeah.
And by the way, if I don't know who all the presidents are, how is that going to affect me in life?
Yeah.
It's not. So
I
there's-
think
I
think the benefit to that is not knowing who the president is. I think the benefit is the time you took to commit it to memory,
right.
to deliver on that day at 9 a.m. when the teacher handed you the paper and you wrote it down,
Yeah.
and then you got the grade. Like I think the habit that you build of studying, delivering, being an accountable citizen, like those habits are going to translate into, if you're a comedian, writing comedy. Like,
Absolutely.
you have a deadline. You got to be on stage at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to prepare in advance. I'm not studying who the presidents are. I'm committing my jokes to memory. So it's the process
good
of
point.
what you're doing, not what you're learning. So I don't want to discount like all that, because if you could just look it up all on your phone.
David's currently trying to hook up with a third grade teacher. That's why he's saying this.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And as soon as I said that, I thought, well,
No,
as
you're
long
not
as
wrong though.
well,
You're
no,
not
but-
wrong though,
well-
because you can evolve like to what kind of learning we could do. Like,
yeah. Well,
you know.
I think what a good point of that is, maybe it doesn't matter if you're learning the presidents. What is important is learning how to memorize.
Yeah.
So maybe that
Learning
turns
how
into
to
exactly
learn.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because that is very important. I just
Or
wish
learning a topic. I think one of the greatest things that is kind of losing a little steam today is like writing a good paper.
yeah.
To write a good paper is the hardest thing ever, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard to write a good paper. That's why so many kids like cheat on that.
Yeah.
And get plagiarize online and shit like that. Because to come up to write about a topic, first of all, you have to know the topic really well. A topic that people have written thousands of pages on. To distill it down to 5 pages in a way that makes sense and that says something honest, true to you, and also that makes sense.
Whenever you were in
So
school,
hard.
did you have to do book reports? Like before you did papers, did you have to do like a 1-page book report?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. And then we'd have to do like opinion papers on like classic works of literature. So
That's
like, you
nice.
have to pick a topic, defend it,
Yeah.
lay out arguments,
Right.
have it flow. When I was really young, I wish we would do this. I wish like more people did this exercise, but we'd write stories. I read a story about a guy named Johnny, and he has
That's
this
nice.
like adventure and like
It's making you be creative.
fictional. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I hadn't done creative writing
But we
in
should
a
do more
long
of it.
time.
They should
Yeah.
make kids do more of it because kids, and what I was trying to think of was like, do you ever listen to like Gary Vaynerchuk at all?
Yeah, Gary V.
Oh, Gary V, baby.
He bugs me now, but
Yeah, I
used
know.
to-
I
used
know.
to
A couple
follow
years
lot of
ago,
his
it was
shit.
good. But like his whole thing is school is terrible for entrepreneurs. But I think what it means is school is terrible for like creative people, creators,
Yeah.
because it's teaching you to memorize stuff and it's not teaching you how to create stuff.
Sure.
As an entrepreneur, as an artist,
fundamentally
whatever.
different skill sets.
Yes, and I think that in what we should do is more creative learning and more analyzation learning. Because if you're an
Yeah.
engineer, you need to analyze. If you're an artist, you need to create. Or if you're an entrepreneur, you need to create. If you're an innovator, whatever.
Yeah.
We should encourage that in schools, like with creative writing. We should do
Yeah.
that. I definitely and make fictional stories. Stretch these kids'
Yeah.
beautiful minds
Yeah.
that they have.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're talking about taking a big book and dropping it down to 5 pages.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is a wall between comics that have good stuff, but they're not going to reach the next level, and a comic that has reached the next level. I think that is how to articulate your thoughts.
Yeah.
And if you can take
Distill
down a
it
big
down.
story and articulate that story in a shorter period of time,
Yeah.
that's very important, because
Yeah.
all of us, if we're sitting at a comic, like whenever Caleb Elliott was doing his set last Friday,
Yeah.
I was like, I've thought of that before, or I could have thought of that, or I think I could have thought of that. The truth is, we may have all have thought of that. That's why everyone's laughing, because it's relative.
Right.
But Caleb was able to articulate it and create that story, and that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
one thing I love about comedy and trying to
Yeah.
get better at it. you
Yeah,
know?
that's the nice feedback mechanism you get. There's no other art form I can think of where you get the feedback that it's right
yeah,
from the people. They'll tell you that it's right away.
mm-hmm.
And so if you're committed to hearing that, trying to be honest about what they're saying back, then it should get better, as opposed to writing a story. If the first draft of the story is really shitty, you have to rely on the teacher to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
May or may not be exactly right, but with a stand-up bit,
Yeah,
the whole room is going to be able to kind of give you an idea pretty early
right.
where it's at. And then if you have the balls to keep trying it, despite failing here and there, it'll get whittled down into a really great piece of art, if you want to call it that.
For sure.
But yeah, dude, I think the writing a book report versus writing a creative story, those are two very different things.
Extremely different things.
I think they're kind of opposed to one another in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're writing a book report, you kind of want to get it right. If you're writing a creative story, you want to be free and go wherever your mind.
Yeah.
And getting it right in a creative sense is being honest in a way.
Right.
But it takes a lot of courage to be honest.
Totally right. That's why not a lot of people are.
Because most type A people are worried my honest work is going to get shit on. So I'm not going to put that weird thought out there because I'm worried somebody's going to judge it.
That's why there's a lot more journalists than novelists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Book report versus creative story.
Exactly. Journalists and novelists. Exactly right. And there's even... It is tough in creative fields, too, because there's very few successful novelists.
Absolutely.
There's like a few at the top and then a billion shitty ones nobody's heard of.
Because it's very hard to do what you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we just proved that, you know. When I was in the 3rd grade, we had to do a book report. And it was weird because I went to a very small Christian school. So it was all about no plagiarism, no cheating,
Right.
do your work.
It's
And,
good.
and so they made you put your name on it. So you would have to do your little name and date at the top. And you would have a 1-page double-spaced thing where you would do a book report. And at the bottom of it, it says, I have read this book, and by signing this, I am saying that. And you have to write your full name. And so I did my thing, and I wrote the whole report. I didn't read the book. I flipped the book over and read the back of it, and I wrote my book report. And I didn't sign it. I wasn't a liar as a kid.
Right.
I did that when I was an adult. But so I didn't sign it. And so the teacher, Miss Susan Roberts, she goes, "Jacob, come here for a second." And she goes, "You forgot to sign your name at the bottom." I said, "Miss Roberts, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't read the book." And so she said, "Okay." She read my report, and the next day she called me back, and she goes, "Jacob," because, oh, by the way, if you didn't sign it and you didn't read the book, you were an automatic 65F.
Oh, really?
So that was the big deal.
Dang.
It wasn't just
you
like,
got a high integrity bar.
Well, it's like, it wasn't just like, oh, you didn't do your work. It was like, you're going to get a failing grade on this paper if you don't do it. Mm-hmm. So she calls me back because you started at 65 and then you work your way down because they take off points for all your shitty stuff because we're in third grade. She goes, "Jacob, you had the best book report in the entire class. Mm-hmm. In fact, you had the best book report that I've seen in this grade level. So I can't give you a 65. I'm going to give you a B plus, a 92.
Right.
And I was like, sweet.
Nice.
You know, being honest worked out for one time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that means, whether I'm a great bullshitter or what it means, but
no,
it was just an
it means
interesting
you have
experience.
some integrity. That's good for sure. Yeah, there's a really good story about creative writing. There's a YouTube video. Ricky Gervais talks about a story when similar to yours, I guess. It was with a teacher, probably elementary school, and the assignment was to write a creative story, and he would write all these extravagant stories with like knights and princesses and dragons and just like all this, or just RoboCops from the future, just all this crazy stuff. And his teacher would give it back to him and say, "No, too melodramatic, write something else." And he would get so frustrated. He's like, "This is the best story ever. Like, this is about a cowboy west, like whatever." He would just make stuff
Discouraging.
So finally he said, "I'm gonna get her. Like, I know what I'll do." So he said, I'm gonna write about, I think it was about a neighbor lady, and it was the most boring story he could think of, but it was a lady he knew, and he wrote every little detail, like about, and I'm gonna get some of the details that's wrong, but it was something about like her garden or like every little detail about it, and he knew, because he knew this person, and it was like the most mundane story, and he turned it in, and the teacher threw it back to him and it said A at the top. It said, "Write about what you know."
Yeah.
And he never forgot that lesson. And it's so much easier because there's so, like, the ordinary is so much more extraordinary because it's true. It's your story.
Yeah.
Versus trying to be something that you think other people will want to hear.
For sure.
So I think that applies to comedy too. The jokes that are like really unique to who you are and like stuff that you do and think about that nobody else, like, those are the ones that people like are like, huh, that like make people remember you.
For sure.
More so than trying to write a good shit joke. Not that shit jokes aren't funny.
You need them.
Yeah.
People remember personal stories. They don't necessarily remember jokes.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, how are you going to remember me next week if I tell you my story or something personal to me? You don't have to have your whole personal story as your whole set.
Yeah, and I love
like
those weird jokes. Like, one of my favorite Louis C.K. jokes ever, and Louis is one of my favorite comics, obviously, is the 9/11 deniers joke. Have you heard that joke before?
I have not.
Okay, I'll just boil it down. But basically, his daughter, they were listening to NPR, and they were talking about 9/11 deniers, which is people who think 9/11 was a conspiracy. Mm-hmm. And his daughter said, "Oh, I thought they meant 9/11 deniers." And yeah, he's like, yeah, she thought they meant 9 people that weren't buying this 11 bullshit.
Oh.
People standing outside the White House.
Yeah.
Like, "We are the 9/11 deniers."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, it goes 9, 10, and 12. Like,
Okay, got
They
it.
didn't believe in
Got it.
11.
There were
Literally.
9 people that were
How
denying
weird
11.
of an idea is that?
That's ridiculous.
He makes it hilarious.
Of course.
But it was like the weirdest little thing that happened. Most people would gloss over that and be like, "You can't make that funny.
Right.
You can't make that a joke."
Right.
That's in one of his specials.
Yeah.
"We are the 9/11 deniers.
Well, I think
Me and my
that
8 friends know it."
I think
Like,
it's okay to make jokes about the pandemic,
Yeah.
9/11, and the Holocaust. They're all three the best global fiction stories that have ever been on the planet in our time.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's yeah. It's okay to joke about it
Yeah.
because they're hoaxes.
Right. It's totally fine. It's the same thing as making a joke about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same plane.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
And the massacre of his elves that nobody ever talks about.
yes, definitely.
The genocide of
the jihadi elves.
Yeah.
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 And if you don't think I'm right, you're probably a cunt.
Yeah.
What do you think about words? Are there words you shouldn't say in comedy?
Yeah. I would never say the N word on stage.
Me either.
Although, fuck, Louis even says the N word on stage.
I haven't heard that. I heard Jim Norton say it in a special.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
I've seen. Yeah. I mean, dude, I think it's like, why are you saying it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
For
if you're
sure.
if you're saying it because you know the cultural environment is gonna get super pissed off, and you just want to be like, I'm gonna stick this fork in this electrical socket just to be a dick.
Yeah.
Then, what are you doing? Like,
A little cheap.
But-
That's
but-
a little cheap.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather like I just like my goal isn't to like piss you off. So, but a well placed retard bit, I'd be with it.
Okay.
You
I
know?
was curious of your opinion.
You know, because it's all, I don't know. I think it's about like intent and like if you can get away with it. You
Definitely.
know?
Absolutely. I would never say the N word either because I just can't. I can't find the place for it,
I can't find the humor in it.
and I don't have a humorous idea about it. You know. But I mean, there's many other words that I think are fine.
It's just too, yeah. It's too
I'm not
volatile. a
If
word.
I had 100 jokes that had the N word in it, that would be one thing.
yeah,
But I have 0 jokes that come close to needing that need the N word. And maybe you don't need the word cunt or need the word retard, but that's different than the N word. Mm-hmm. And you're right. It's your job to win the crowd over. It's your job to provide context, and then
Yeah.
you hit them.
Yeah.
If you do that, I think it's appropriate. But
Because
don't just
comedy doesn't really exist in like a vacuum. It's like you have to deal with the crowd and the environment you're living in. We do comedy in 2021, so
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, people are thinking about all the shit that might offend them.
Sure.
And to make comedy work in 2021, you kind of have to like acknowledge that, be mindful of it,
Yeah.
still do your thing.
For sure.
But if comedy is people laughing, so you have to find a way to make it work despite all that. Maybe you could say something really interesting in the process, but
And there's nothing wrong with adapting to that at all.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you're a weak comic. And by the way, I'm talking about myself. There's nothing wrong with adapting to that because we've heard a
Yeah,
lot of
probably
old
not.
jokes from the 60s or the 70s that you shouldn't say today.
you probably couldn't do now.
That you couldn't do, but you shouldn't do. It's just not right, and you don't think that women are less than men. Whereas maybe back then that person actually meant that. You may not. You don't know.
I think there are some old jokes that are savage and are still appropriate.
Oh, absolutely.
And you couldn't do today though too.
Yeah.
By the same token, so I guess
Could be.
like a lot of Norm Macdonald stuff. If you go back and watch his savage shit,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like a lot of people at the time I think hated him too because
Yeah.
they thought he was a misogynist.
Could have.
And they thought he was kind of maybe arrogant because he was doing Weekend Update, doing whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
But that's what made him funny. He like never, like,
Well, you can also say that if you're fucking funny. If you're Norm Macdonald, you can say something that my dumbass can't
right.
because he's funny and his
Yeah.
only job is to be funny.
Yeah.
I think there's a different rule for Bill Burr versus me
Yeah.
because there's an entire if you doubt Bill Burr, there's 15 years of backlogged body
Yeah.
of work that you can go through and say, oh, this is Bill Burr style.
Did you see the Bill Burr SNL monologue he did?
I did.
That was a while back.
I did.
That was interesting.
Yeah. I've
People-
always loved
people-
Bill Burr.
I do too.
Yeah.
People in the room didn't necessarily laugh that hard at all of his stuff.
Yeah. And he knew that,
Yeah.
which is one reason why he did it.
He just kind of went in on him.
He's one that
It
doesn't
was
mind going into a room and sticking the fork in the electrical socket. He
Right.
doesn't mind.
That's kind
that.
of his thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've always been a big fan of him, and he's kind of honestly been my inspiration for using cunt
Really?
all the time. Yeah, because he would in his podcast Or on a stand-up, he's like, you fucking cunts. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of my inspiration for why I say that. You know,
Yeah.
instead of saying, you fucking dicks or you fucking assholes. Everyone else says assholes.
Yeah.
I just prefer to say cunt.
Yeah,
You know?
it's kind of funny how comedians' personalities evolve over time.
It is.
If you watch with Bill Burr, if you listen to him now, he's kind of like becoming like an old man.
He's different.
Like not, I don't think he's like aging poorly or anything, but he's kind of like, I feel like anytime he's doing any podcast, he's kind of like
Yeah.
doing another one of these pieces, and he's very just like, you know. Just as you age, like I'm sure you're like less enthusiastic about, but he's got like tons of wisdom. He's like becoming like an old Jedi or something. Which you haven't seen Star Wars. It doesn't even make sense to you.
But he's doing a one-man show, too.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to maintain energy for 2 hours doing a one-man show?
Oh
3 times
yeah.
a
Well,
week?
I don't even mean that. I don't listen to his podcast. I don't as Monday morning podcast that much. I
okay.
should.
That's what I've listened to in the past. I love
There's a lot
listening
of
to his
great gems
clips.
in there.
I love listening to his clips because he would always do advice, and people would mail in comments about, this is the situation my girlfriend cheated on me, and he would give them advice.
Does he clip those together himself, like the clips that can be very searchable and into bite size, or do other people chop
I think
them
other
down?
people do it.
Yeah. See,
It's what sucks. What sucks.
It doesn't suck. I mean, that's great. Like I wish this like.
But you just can't. It's easy. It's not very easy to find.
Right, exactly.
Like
It's a pain in
JRE.
the ass to follow to put clips together.
Yeah.
Like I only do one a week for this one, and there's, hours and hours of stuff.
Of course.
But
And that's a lot of work too.
but yeah, I kind of meant when Bill Burr does other people's podcasts, like when he goes on like a Barstool podcast or something, and they're like, "Hey, Bill Burr's in the studio," and he's just like, "What's up?"
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, he knows he's kind of past the point of needing that.
What's that?
He feels like he may feel like he's probably past the point of needing that. He's probably sitting in that chair thinking, fuck, if I had been doing comedy for 5 years, I'd be so excited to be here.
Right.
But I've been doing it for 30 fucking years, and I'm sitting in this damn chair
Right.
with these guys,
Right.
And they're excited to see me, which makes me less excited to see them.
Right.
Like, he'd much rather be in a room with him and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Because they're both just on the same
I think
level.
it happens when you do anything, like,
Of course.
for a long time. You
Yeah.
kind of tell a difference. Like when I talk to like Adam Schulte, or I talk to Travis or Brand, or Craig or any of the comics that have been doing it like 10 years, and I talk to like you or like any new comic, it's totally different energy. So
Definitely.
it's like just like a, you can just tell. With sales too. You ever talk to an old sales guy?
When I sold cars, I was only around old sales guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Don't they kind of have like this gruff, like I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck attitude?
Absolutely.
Like I've seen everything.
Yeah, they don't
like,
want to fucking be there.
Like, cause they've done enough sales where like people have wasted their time. They've closed enough good sales. They've had enough bad sales. They just know they can tell right away what type of buyer you are.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, I just want to make my money, go home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you talk to a Bill Burr and you're on KFC radio or Barstool radio, and you're like, well, what is your writing process for writing a bit? He's like, well, listen, I think of a funny bit and I fucking write it down. Whereas if you saw Brandon Rainwater on there, who's been doing it for 10 years, but he's not Bill Burr, he would be so happy to tell you his writing process because he's still excited about it.
Yeah.
But someone like Bill Burr's like, you fucking cunt. You don't have a better pitch.
Yeah.
I saw an interview. I can't remember which actor it was, but he's like a 75-year-old actor. Almost like a De Niro, but it wasn't De Niro. And this young interviewer is asking him these questions. And he just he's sitting there miserable, going, yeah, no, yeah. And he finally goes, did you guys really fucking bring me in here and ask me these dumb questions that I've been hearing the last 60 fucking years?
Yeah.
It's like, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
I think that's how anyone that's been doing something for forever would feel.
Have you ever seen I Think You Should Leave? Tim Robinson?
No.
Oh, well, that's a good show for anybody who hasn't seen it. But they do a spoof on like they're interviewing for a movie, and there's two actors, and Santa Claus is the third actor.
Nice.
And there's an interviewer, and he like an E type interviewer, and he asks him a question, and he says, "Oh, we got Santa Claus," and he like mentions something about Chris, and Santa's like, "God damn it! Like I told you not to mention the North Pole." And he just, who briefed this guy? And he's like, "It's goddamn fucking bullshit, same bullshit."
That's
Always,
awesome.
like.
That's awesome.
And then he tries to talk about his craft as an actor, and he's like,
yeah.
it's kind of a cosmic gumbo of like this or that."
Right.
But yeah, same idea. It's like, these guys have been doing it a while. You just don't,
Well, people we judge actors and comedians, or we judge artists in general, musicians, comedians, artists, in the same way that we should judge us. Like if I were I went to a Jamie Johnson concert in Asheville, and he's a country rock artist. He's like 60 years old, and he hasn't brought out a new album in the last couple of years. And one of my coworkers was like, "Yeah, but I wish he would do some new shit." Like Willie Nelson brings out a new album every couple of years, and he's 70.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he doesn't fucking want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm 60 years old, I want to do whatever I want to do.
Sure.
And if you're like Ron White, I'm a big Ron White fan. He said on Rogan, he goes, yeah, I think, I have all sold out dates this year. I'm going to go out the right way, but I think this is the way I want to leave comedy.
Okay.
He goes, only because I don't want to die in a hotel room. I don't want to be George Carlin when you die in your hotel room in Vegas. I want to go see the world, and I want to live on my own terms. I've done it for 40 years.
Yeah.
I deserve to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
We shouldn't hate them for that.
Right.
I don't want to do my fucking job until I'm 80 years old.
Right.
But it's odd. It's just a weird judgment that we have for different people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how fair that judgment is.
It's not fair.
It's kind of weird to picture like what would be an ideal going out to pasture situation for a comedian. Like, I don't know that stopping comedy is ever something you would want to do per se.
Right.
I look at guys like Jerry Seinfeld, who, I've talked about this before on the thing, but he's almost a billionaire. And as soon as the pandemic stopped, because of Seinfeld syndication, he's like worth $800, $900 million.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's one of the richest comedians. He and Larry David. But as soon as the pandemic started to like calm down a little bit, he was back on stage at Gotham performing. Like, of anybody who doesn't need the money,
right?
Pushing 70, he still wants to perform. So I don't know. I could definitely see not wanting to tour.
Yeah,
that to me would be a grind. I've never toured before,
right?
But like, I could just picture being old and like touring.
That'd be a huge grind.
Yeah,
yeah.
But to me, like, a fun way to do it, like, would maybe be stand up like we do now.
Yeah.
Just do it in a small town, hit a few mics a week, and just have fun with it. There's enough people and enough new people to try stuff out and just express yourself.
Absolutely.
I would love that.
For sure.
That'd be like heaven. Like, you're out of the business side. Maybe you do paid shows here and there, but like.
Can I tell you my fantasy?
What is it?
If I were someone, I'm putting myself in Ron White's shoes.
Okay.
And he may have even said part of this. If I'm Ron White, and he lives in Austin, Rogan's building a comedy club in Austin, and he said, "Yeah, man, even though I'm retired, I'm still do your club." So there's 3 or 4 clubs around Austin, Houston, Dallas, or whatever. He just goes and does a show every couple of weeks, but no one's going to turn him down. If one of his old comedy friends from the last 20 years is doing a show in Colorado, hey man, I'll fly out for the weekend.
Yeah,
whatever. I mean, just do it wherever you want to go. If you're a New York guy. Yeah. Like if you're a lifelong New York guy,
where you could just drop in at any
you could
clubs.
pop in the cellar once a month at 72 years old, and people are like, "Holy shit, is that Gilbert Gottfried?"
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my, I love that guy when I was a kid. You know,
yeah.
You just do that.
And the working comics are pissed off, like they got bumped, and you're like,
"Oh,
yeah,
but fuck him."
Yeah,
you know, he put in his time.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
but I mean, that's what I would think. You know, because as much fun as we think it would be to tour, not even guys that love comedy and they're great at comedy, maybe not everyone wants to go from Minnesota to fucking
I
Cleveland,
think there's
Ohio.
Aspects of it, and I'm pissed I forgot to ask Brandon about this, but I think there's aspects of it that probably suck. Like you're
like being in the car all day.
Yeah, well, you're doing your
room?
same act too. So like, what if you get bored of your own act, and then you're like, I'm doing it to people that love it, but like I don't even think this shit's funny anymore because it's.
You're totally right.
You know,
you should have asked that. That's a great question.
Yeah,
I'll answer it for you. I get tired of hearing myself do the same bit.
Noland speaking as Brandon Rainwater.
I get bored saying the same bit truthfully, 100% committed the same way to the first time. I get bored saying it after 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, me too. That's why you shelve it and come back to it.
You shelve it. I shelved my fiance cheating story for 5 weeks, and then last week at the Comedy Zone, I saw it was a new crowd and a really big crowd. I was like, I'll use that story as like a 1 minute to 15-second story after I do a couple bang, bang, bang jokes.
Yeah.
Carry it on over to the next part of the set and then go back to it.
Right.
Because I didn't have enough material to go bang, bang, bang every single second.
Right.
So, but it's okay to shelf stuff. But, dude, if I did an act for 150 shows a year, dude, that's tough. That's tough.
Although I think stuff happens during it because Brandon did say like you can try new stuff and in the midst of it because you get so comfortable like with that much stage time you are so comfortable on that stage that like you're just in control and you're like okay maybe I'll try this. Who gives a shit if it doesn't work?
That's
maybe
a great point.
And then you like can evolve the act as you go. So I think there's novelty within that framework, but you still could get bored of it. You know, I mean Bill Burr actually talked about that. Like sometimes like you know.
you get into your act, and you could like be doing your taxes mentally as you're not even present.
That's a good
So
point.
he'd like ad lib tags and just throw a bucket of water on himself to bring him back into the moment,
Yeah.
that room and shit.
That's a good point.
But yeah, anyway, it's
Kind of like how every woman feels during intercourse.
yeah,
Just doing their taxes during it the whole time.
just not even there.
Which, if they're having sex with me, they're not even going to get to the first quarter because I'm already done. But
Yeah,
I didn't say I was funny, folks.
Women are troopers during sex, man. It's amazing.
Well, I know yours are usually
Vaccinated?
unconscious.
I was gonna say vaccinated. I don't
Yeah.
know why I thought that.
I'm not vaccinated. Am I allowed to be on this podcast?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I wish
Okay.
I wasn't vaccinated.
Yeah.
I got it last January, a year ago.
I
So I'm
respect
hoping,
everyone for their decision.
I don't.
Well,
I think people that got vaccinated.
I said I respect their decision. I didn't say I didn't think they were fucking idiots. You know?
No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously up to you. It's your own choice, which is also why I think it's bullshit to force somebody to do it at threat of being fired.
Yeah, I think here's what you should do. If you have a woman that's forcing you to get the vaccine, you should force her to get an abortion next time she gets pregnant.
What?
How about that?
What'd you say?
If she's going to force me to get the vaccine, we'll just mandate you get an abortion the next time you get pregnant.
Oh my god.
Go fuck yourself.
I don't know if that.
This is where it takes a turn.
Yeah,
That's just a thought. That's how my
I
brain
didn't even
thinks.
process that joke because this is how stupid vaccines are now. Like as soon as we started talking about this, I got a little nervous.
Right.
That of the 50 to 100 something views or listens that this podcast is going to get. Well, we talked about vaccines. We started talking about vaccines.
Well, then let's do the right thing.
Is the federal government going to like come out of the walls and start to?
Let's do the right thing, David. You feel this way probably. Well, maybe you don't. I respect you if you are nervous or scared or what comfortable. If you want to get the vaccine, I totally respect you for that, and I 100% hope you respect me for my decision not to get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
just
feel that
because
way,
I
too.
disagree
All
with you,
sincerity, I feel that way.
just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I don't like you as a person. I'm sure I disagree with you on some financial stuff or political stuff or whatever. It doesn't mean I don't like you as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like a woman asked me how I could vote for Trump last week, which is odd because he's not even in office.
Right.
But he goes, how could you vote for Trump? He thinks women are less than men. He thinks all Mexicans are rapists. And he is really rude to minority laborers. And I said, well, so do I. So once she brought up some differing points.
That is hilarious. Dude, just use that next week at Laughing
Okay.
Skull.
I will. We got one.
No, I think the one about your friend being gay is funny too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Did you like my gangbang joke last night? Or was it not good material?
Remind me the joke.
My girlfriend wanted our anniversary to be special. So she said, Jacob, whatever your favorite porn video is, let's do that, but don't tell me what it is. So I blindfolded her in our living room and I let 3 black guys fuck her. I think it could be better
I think that's
or
good.
tighter, but I like it.
That's pretty
Yeah.
tight. That's pretty great.
My original thing was I let the basketball team come in and fuck her.
Dude, what the
but I wanted it to be tighter, so 3 black guys,
Yeah.
I don't know where I think of it, man. No idea.
Yeah, you say you have a hard time coming with those are good jokes.
Well, I appreciate
You're also in
it.
downtown Atlanta, so tread lightly, I guess, but no.
Half of them have been in that video,
No.
or they want to be.
No, they're a cool crowd, and it's definitely not. It doesn't have to be clean, so
Yeah.
you'll probably be fine.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Well, so do I.
I thought that was pretty good. I do like that one. I was very pleased that my name joke went over well at Comedy Zone.
Yeah.
I thought of that the first night I saw Brandon hosting, and I didn't see him host again at the Comedy Zone while I was performing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck! I thought of this great joke and I can't even use it."
You could use it,
but
though.
But you were right. I should have done that anyway and used it as a standalone joke. So I'm doing that next week.
I mean, it might hit harder if Brandon's there because
Right.
it's like topical,
More relevant.
and
Yeah.
stuff off the cuff hits harder, honestly, than prepared material a lot of times.
It does.
Because everybody's in on it.
Yeah.
But,
Every time I've been killing, well, okay, I apologize for that. Every time I've been doing okay, because I haven't been killing.
no, you've killed pretty hard.
Okay, thank you very much. Every time I've done well, like with roasting people, then I literally say in my mind, okay, I'm going to do some jokes I wrote. And it does not go over as well. A couple of them do. But for the majority of the time, my roasting is up here and my material is down here. And I need to figure out a way to get that up. Because you can't roast in every situation.
No.
And you can't roast everyone.
I hate roasts, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them. I don't like, because I don't like to like roast people for no reason.
Right.
Maybe if it's your friends and stuff.
I think it's probably because you have a heart.
I don't know.
And I applaud you for that. Some of us have to be soulless demons.
No, it's just different to me than actually like other stuff. But I don't know. Yeah.
This is probably a very weak character trait that I have, but I find myself in a group of friends or on a date with a girl. I'll say something to her or I'll ask her a question, hoping that she'll ask me a question or hoping that she'll say
No,
something to me.
everybody does that. Everybody does that.
All right.
I think.
So
I do that.
I've always wanted to be picked on about something personal or joked about, and so I love doing it to other people.
Yeah.
Hoping that one of them will get up there and say something funny about me. Because, every time Adam does an intro for me, it's the best intro anyone could have written about,
Yeah, Adam has a real big
I
heart
love
for
it.
that
I
stuff.
really like it. So, I do that hoping someone's going to do it to me, Because, you can't offend me. The only thing that offends me is people getting offended.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can offend me about.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I gotcha. Doesn't always go right. Remember
No.
Scooter got pissed at you.
If Scooter gets mad at me and tries to fight me, I'm just going to have to walk away slowly.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of you.
Well, he wouldn't be able to catch me because I have to walk away slowly.
Well, there is such a thing, and this is hazing up
True.
is a thing.
True.
I had a really, really bad story that happened to me in sales.
Please share.
Well, so in sales, you go start as a rookie, and I was kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. And I don't know. I was kind of just an ass clown anyway. Didn't really have a lot of self-respect, so I just became like the butt of jokes.
Right. And
I
did you
think
kind
it
of
was-
embrace it?
I played into it. I acted like a jackass. People were like,
Yep.
David's the douchebag clown, whatever.
I see what you mean now.
So, but I kind of knew that wasn't a good long-term thing to be. But I didn't know. And I was drinking a lot back then too. But anyway, then like I was like a year into this region, and there was an ASR, like a junior rep that had just started, but he was younger than me, and he was a new rep. And then we were like out like at bars and stuff, and somebody made a joke kind of at my expense, and it was fine because there was the older guys of the group making the joke, and then Justice chimed in and piled on the joke. Oh shit, I said his name.
I'm sure he was an African American gentleman
No.
named Justice.
No.
Was he a cop's son?
No, dude. All right, stop saying his name. I was like, I looked at him and I was like, shut the fuck up, Justice.
Oh, just jumped on him.
Got real, dude. I
Yeah.
got real.
And then it got quiet.
This is also why I don't drink, dude. It was the most awkward.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And then people got awkward and stuff. And
That
I
sucks,
was like,
though.
dude, I'm not good.
You should be able to jump back, though.
I was like, come on, bro. Like, and it was like, yeah, don't haze up. Like,
Whatever. Well, that's true, though. That's a
it
good
was-
point.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of how I felt about it. But I
That's an excellent point.
Part of it was a lot of my own.
Well, I did go up to Scooter afterwards because I definitely don't want him to be thinking that I'm some piece of crap that's just thinks that I'm too funny and I can roast people. So I said, hey man, I'm real. I kind of complimented him. I was like, hey man, I gotta do way better if I'm gonna get to you. And he goes, man, your stuff's usually really good. I mean, what happened tonight? He was actually really nice.
Yeah.
He was like, hey man, you didn't do well tonight. What was up? Did something change? Like, what was up your stuff? And so he was very nice about it. Actually, he wanted me to do well. So I was happy about that.
That's almost a bigger ouch when he acknowledges that you didn't do well.
It didn't know. Well, I sucked the whole night. My whole set was terrible. So him and he seemed very genuine.
When there was a girl there, we were sitting in the front tables kind of before you went on? I was
No.
sitting in the front tables.
No. That was the banking convention night. That was a good
Oh.
night. That was a good night. This was the week before the week of Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't say it rude, or he was actually kind of like genuinely being serious. He's like, "Hey man, like your stuff's usually really good."
Yeah.
Like he was actually being serious. I was like, so that was actually nice.
Well, I think
of him.
anytime you try to roast somebody and you like go in,
Yeah,
like you're taking a risk
definitely a risk.
because you're risking that the audience is going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
and because you can't hesitate, you got to go for it.
Yeah,
But there's always a chance the audience will be like, "Wait, is this guy really an asshole?" Like out of the box.
certainly, absolutely.
And that takes a lot of experience to kind of get. Like Travis does similar stuff. Like he'll just go in on the audience sometimes.
Yeah.
And it works. Very high hit rate.
Uh-huh.
But if somebody doesn't like him, whoa, what was that?
I really like Travis's stand up, and I hadn't seen a lot of it. I'd seen him at Coffee Underground once or twice, maybe twice.
Yeah.
But I really liked I really gained respect for his stand up at the Toys for Tot show.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a perception of Travis, but which I mean you do after a first impression, and didn't know if he was very approachable. I didn't know if he would think I was a prick or not. But I watched his episode on your podcast, and he's like one of the sweetest. He's got one of the biggest hearts. Like he has a very nice guy.
Yeah, it ruined it for
And
me.
I
I prefer the character.
well, I'm talking about Travis, not you, Travis. You're a cunt, Travis. And so I've really tried to talk to Travis every time that I've seen him now. Because like, wow, he's so nice and approachable, and he wants us to do well.
No, yeah, he's cool.
So it's nice.
He respects you more, like the more you actually are like showing up and working on stuff.
Yeah. Well, man, it's like the same as sales. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a nice guy or an asshole. If you're not selling, they don't give a shit about you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a nice guy that comes to the open mics every week, but you're not funny, doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Your job, or if you're a fucking cunt and
Yeah.
you're
You can be
hilarious,
funny and a dick. Yeah.
yeah, then cool. I mean, I don't really like him, but he's fucking hilarious.
Ideally, you're nice and
Of course,
getting better.
of course. Like one of the girls comics, one of the young ladies. We hung out for like 10 minutes after Radio Room, and she goes, "I'm actually kind of seeing a different side of you. Like you're a very nice guy and very caring guy." I'm like, "Yeah, I promise, I'm not a fucking asshole." Like I just think those types of jokes are funny.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's my whole frame of mind.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
So I don't know. I'm sure you've kind of experienced that with your first impressions.
I have. The
you know?
first joke I ever told was a misogynistic joke about women not being able to drive and
Nice.
how 9/11 pilots. No, it was. I wish there were more women pilots because I think 9/11 would have gone way differently. Because there's nothing a woman does better than shutting down a creepy, aggressive dude from the Middle East.
Very nice. Very nice.
That joke does okay. I haven't done it in like a year, but the first thing I said was, "Why aren't there women pilots?" Like, because they're bad drivers, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
It was not even a joke. It's just a misogynist statement.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, before you run, you got to walk. Before you fly, you got to be able to drive.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it was the first joke I wrote that got laughs. So, like, it was all I had.
Yeah.
But all I knew how to do was go edgy as hell and hope for a reaction.
Right.
That was all I was trying to do because like it was too scary. Anything else to not get a reaction.
For sure.
So
It is terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're trying a new bit, or if you're trying to be dark or edgy, or if you're trying to roast somebody, man, you are like in your mind, you're a little bit scared because you don't want that person to think you're an asshole, and you don't want to turn the audience on you.
Yeah.
So it's like, ugh. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, when I first started, I kind of feel like I had this blind, ignorant confidence that was really unlikable. Very much not self-aware. Hated it.
I think I'm
if
in
I go
that
back
phase.
and watch old video, yeah,
It's okay.
It's fine. I mean, you're still getting laughs all through it. If that is a phase, I'm not even saying it is. It might not be. Like you might be like in your own element, but you'll probably evolve that too. But yeah, all I wanted was a reaction.
Yeah.
Just to survive. That was all.
That's an interesting point there.
And
Like
then-
in the
and then
beginning,
you
you're just wanting
realize-
to survive and get a reaction, just a reaction.
Right.
But now you want a certain
now I
reaction.
try to know exactly what I'm doing
Yeah.
when I go that way.
That's
and-
really
and
cool.
not be ignorant about it.
Yeah, man, that shows a
And-
level
and-
of advancement.
Hopefully, I mean
That's great, man.
And sometimes you can kind of pull back too much, so it's kind of like how hard can you commit? It's always this kind of cat and mouse. I feel like, but
Yeah. Well, you don't want to go after an open micer leaves the stage. You don't want to go, what the fuck was that?
Right. Exactly.
That's interesting. I've never thought of it that way, actually.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm in their first phase.
Well,
but that's really nice.
I think of that now.
Yeah, that's a good way to articulate that.
And yeah, that's why typically a lot of jokes you start out doing, you don't do later. But yeah, and then hopefully you can, the less scared you are, the more you can try weird shit.
Yeah.
Travis does a lot of absurdist shit. Absurd.
I would like for him to go other places and adapt and do these things because I think he's really good.
Well, what do you mean? Oh, see him at Comedy Zone?
I mean, I've never seen him at Comedy Zone except for once, but I know I've always seen him at the Coffee Underground, and I think you did come to the Radio Room one time.
He's always at those.
So but that's those are his
but
homes. That's his home mics.
Yeah, Travis wants to do more with comedy based on our. Yeah,
and I think he should give himself the chance.
I think he's just limited right now. He's like you said, financially, whatever, working through some shit. But
certainly,
yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'm cheering for you, Travis.
I didn't want to come across like we're...
No, I mean, I mean this in the best way possible.
No, for sure.
If he wasn't good, I wouldn't say, I wish he would give himself a chance to go other places,
Yeah, but...
I'm saying that about you. I don't want you to go other places. I don't want you to get your fucking feelings hurt.
No. We're talking about a lot of other comics, too. Do you have siblings?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I have an older brother and an older sister, and I had...
So you're the youngest?
No, I had a younger brother. He passed away last year. Or this year,
really?
2021. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Dang, dude, I'm sorry.
Well, it was a terrible situation.
How old was he?
He had just turned 22 in March,
goodness.
and he committed suicide in April.
Dude,
So it was a terrible time.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, still going through it for sure.
That was this past year, 2021?
That was 2021. So my brother passed away, and my engagement ended, which is like a fucking terrible year. And the only thing that after I said that to someone, I was like, but I did start comedy in November. Like, that's the one positive thing I can bring out.
Without having those two things happen?
I think that I probably would have gotten on stage at some point in time after being single for a while, because that's something I'd wanted to do for a long time. But the truth is, the push to do well as fast as possible came from my younger brother passing, because although his passing was suicide and not a car accident, it was more, I don't want to say on purpose, but he did that to himself. It still made it real for me that I could die at my age.
Yeah.
It just, even though, like I said, it was a suicide and not an accident, it still put it in real, like, this person that is my age died.
Yeah.
Like, that could happen to me. And so I need to do what I just need to have. Like, because my neighbors have told me to try Radio Room. My friends have always said, hey, you should try comedy. I'm like, dude. And I was scared because I didn't think I would do well. I was like, dude, have the fucking balls to try it. Because you could be dead next year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather try something for yourself, So that was a huge reason to push doing well. I think I would have eventually gotten on stage at some point in time just because I was single. But I would not.
But it could have been years from now.
Could have been years from now. But I wouldn't have had the push to do as well as I'm trying to do earlier, Like, I'm not trying to be on tour next year. I'm just saying I want to make the most of my potential every time I go on stage.
Yeah.
So that's why I get pissed at myself, because I don't force myself sometimes to put in the work to prepare. Mm-hmm. And although some of my material is just B material or C material, if you deliver it the right way and you're prepared the right way, it's going to turn into a much better material.
Yeah.
So, part of that my whole life has been, oh, Jacob, you have so much potential, but you're not using it. Like when I would get in trouble at school.
Yeah.
That's what the teacher would always say.
Yeah.
I just want all of us to make the most of our potential.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. You had a hit bottom moment to get on. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out how to make it work, but I want to do a joke that says, my brother passed away this year, or my brother committed suicide, my engagement ended, and Joe Biden became president. It's kind of like the kill, fuck, marry of tragedies, but I don't think that works. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make it somewhat funny.
Yeah, it's political too.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a fan of Biden, I don't know who is, but
cunts.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he's well liked even among his own party. But
it's a shame.
What is it? Fuck, marry, kill of tragedies. Yeah.
It's just three terrible things. I don't know which one I would fuck, kill, or marry, but it's just a way to package it.
I'm wondering if there could be a different one besides Biden that you could use.
Probably.
Yeah.
I met. Here we go. My brother committed suicide. My engagement ended, and I met David Baker. I would kill David Baker.
You could just apply it to whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But man, you get ideas and you think they could be really funny, but you never figure out a way to package it to where it's actually
Until you test
workable.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I need to test it. I should test it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it sucks that it takes so much to get people to do the thing they've been putting off.
That's wild.
Like I literally, I've told this before, but I had to have back surgery, and when you have back pain, you think your life is ending. Like you get in an ambulance and go to the hospital, and you just can't move. And
damn.
And then like before you go into general anesthesia, like they say like you have to like sign like last will and testament thing, and like if you don't wake up because there's risks to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Man, that's
I could
terrifying.
die.
Wow.
Obviously, way less of a shock than losing your brother. Don't really want to like try to compare the two, but like,
But that paper makes it real, I bet.
yeah,
That's scary,
yeah,
man.
it does. And you
That's
want to have
scary.
a priest pray with you? Like, I'm like, sure.
Really?
Like, yeah.
And how long ago
They
was
give you
that?
the option. That was July of 2020. That was
Wow.
right before I went on stage the first time.
That is crazy, man.
And yeah, and I kind of hit sort of a bottom with alcohol and just
Yeah.
nothing terrible in terms of like a DUI or anything like that, but like just, I've talked about that too, but just like alcohol is a part of my lifestyle in a really dark way that I did not want to continue. Like I didn't see an end to that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in my 40s and still struggling with hangovers and
Right.
drinking all the time.
It's good you made that decision.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Best decision ever, by the way. If anybody wants to stop drinking, I highly encourage it. I kind of want to start shying away from saying, it's cool if you want to still, like, it is, but I also don't want to undersell quitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quitting alcohol? Dude,
Yeah.
everybody should quit
Right.
in
Right.
a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people have more of a problem with it than others, but there's not, alcohol's bad news, dude.
Yeah.
You see reminders of it on New Year's. Like you see a lot of drunk people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bro. So anyway, those things contributed to somewhat of like a bottom
It's scary.
before I didn't give a shit, and like doing it outweighed not doing it.
Yeah.
Like the benefits of doing it outweighed the fear
Mm-hmm.
of doing it. So
That's crazy. I did
you
not know
just gotta
that.
reach like a fuck it level.
Yeah. I didn't know anything
And
about that.
I don't know if I ever could have gotten there earlier in life.
Mhm.
I would have needed.
Man, I'm glad you found it.
Yeah, dude.
That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. Other people, similar things. Like you need something to initiate your path down it.
Yeah. And whatever that is. Whatever it is. It's not, it's not art for everybody.
Some people are just normal and just like to make people laugh and have fun. Like
Absolutely.
not everybody has like a really dramatic thing, but
Yeah, and it's tough that every comedian, was molested by somebody or, they used to be suicidal or they're an alcoholic or whatever it is. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with them that they found comedy because of these things, and then this just helps them get through that. And one thing I noticed is, and I've never talked about my brother on stage, and I've only done like one joke about my fiance, and I don't mean to talk bad about her because she's a beautiful person, and it was really just a mistake. She's not a bad person,
right.
But I noticed that when I go to work, I can't talk about my pain at work because no one gives a shit,
Right.
and I don't want to talk to my family about it a lot because they're dealing with the same thing,
Sure. Yeah.
So I go to work and I come home, and I sit at home alone.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm not talking about it to anybody.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you just want to scream, sometimes you just want to cry, sometimes you want to laugh. And comedy, when I get on stage, I'm talking.
Right.
I'm not talking about that, but I'm verbally expressing myself in some way, shape, or form to people.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there.
Sure.
Instead of me sitting at home alone like I am
Stewing
5 nights a
over it.
week.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a very important thing for comics. Even if Artie Lang never talked about being a drug addict, I'm sure him being on stage talking about something still helps.
It does.
It's
does.
amazing how that works.
Yeah, I saw a quote by Jordan Peterson. We almost got through an episode without me mentioning him, but talking with other people helps organize your thoughts. So conversations like podcasting helps you do that. It helps keep you sane. It helps you figure out like who you are, where you are, if you're on the right track, whatever. Yeah. Very helpful for anybody, I think, going through any sort of like trauma, especially.
Yeah.
Stand-up's like a conversation, I think.
It definitely is. It's a conversation with the audience.
Yeah, like they're not actually speaking back all the time, but they tell you if you're doing the right thing or if you're not.
Yeah.
So
let me get your opinion on this. If I do a harsh joke, I don't like it if I see a comedian do a harsh joke and then people are laughing or people kind of reel back and they go, I'm sorry. Like they say the joke confidently and then they just break, I'm sorry. I like to say the joke and then sit there and watch them.
Yeah.
I'm not getting, and then it's like, it's the same thing as me saying, hey, can I ask you a question? And then I ask you a question. Just ask the question.
Right.
I'm going to say the joke because I mean the joke. And then I'm going to watch you guys and then I'm going to keep going to the next joke.
Yeah.
I just don't like it when you say something and then you kind of, when you get whatever reaction you get, even if it's laughter, you go, I'm sorry, that's terrible. I really shouldn't say that.
I've done both.
You know?
So
what do you think?
The temptation, the second one is right, I think. To stay in it and commit to what you said.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've done the thing you get annoyed with where you like back off it.
Right.
And that's never that's out of fear, I think.
Yeah.
Usually you're like, oh shit, I offended some people. So
I'm sure it's a amateur thing to do.
I think the right thing to do is to pause, which takes a lot of balls. If you can pause until they laugh, like you say something horrible and just kind of look at them. Like there's a guy, have you ever seen Volume?
I've heard that name.
Branton.
Oh, yes, I have. The master of the pause.
He sits and pauses, and I think it's brilliant. And not every audience gets it every time, but I think that dude is hysterical. And it's because he says non sequitur things. And I've heard some people criticize it, but like, I think being able to sit in the pause and commit to what you said, way better than backing off of it.
Yeah.
Because it asserts your competence as a comic.
Definitely.
Like you're not going to flinch. They're going to flinch first, and them flinching is laughing. And
whoever speaks first loses.
Basically, yeah. And I don't know. I do some things where it's like a little aw shucks kind of delivery, but then I try to keep it a little bit like uncertain what I'm doing. And
but aw shucks is different than apologizing for what you just said.
Yeah.
Don't fucking say it if you're going to apologize for it. Like as soon as I made that diabetes joke, I sat there for 30 seconds and people were laughing, but I sat there. I didn't say, as soon as you lost, like, well, why you still have both your feet? And then I walked, oh God, that's terrible. that's mean. I shouldn't say that. No, say it and just commit to it,
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
And you could say something like, yeah, he's going to murder me after the show.
Yeah, I did say that. I don't think I said eat. I think I did say murder. I was like, oh, he's going to fucking kill me after this.
Yeah.
Now, instead of, if I'm bombing, if I'm not doing well, I will say, I'll pause.
You can have a self-deprecating comment that's not apologizing.
I'll pause and be like, that wasn't fucking funny. Or whenever I was doing bad and you were the only one laughing, thank you. I was like, these guys fucking hate me. I just looked at you because you were my safe guy. I was like, David, these guys fucking hate me.
Yeah.
And then they laughed. I was like, that's the only thing you guys are going to laugh at?
Because they were agreeing that they hated you.
Yeah, I guess. But
they were like, you understood.
It's weird.
No, you understood where you were at.
Yeah.
So they like they were maybe offended by some of the first jokes.
I'm sure.
You brought them back around.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like, you hate yourself after a set one night, and then you're like, I really don't know if I should be doing comedy.
Yeah.
And the next week, you're a totally different guy.
Yeah, you could be. Think you're the man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope I'm a man someday.
What's that?
I hope that I'm a man someday.
A man?
I have this weird thing where I still think I'm a boy. Like, I don't want to disrespect men.
Everybody thinks so.
Like my dad is a man. My brother is a man. Like I haven't done the shit that they've done.
Because
I'm a boy.
they've taken responsibility.
Yeah.
What makes your brother a man? Is he married and kids and stuff?
No, he did just get married last year, but my brother paid for his way through college with a business and then worked hard and didn't make any money in his business, and now he's finally doing well and making money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it takes a fucking man to do something hard that everyone else is like, hey, stick with your job.
Yeah.
And you're doing that until you're successful. And then you didn't quit. Like my dad never came home a lot of nights because he was working.
What's your dad do?
That's what I meant. He owned a small machine shop.
Okay.
My
Nice.
whole life. Yeah.
That's definitely manly.
Yeah. And he
Thing.
unfortunately lost his business during the recession. But
During the pandemic or during
the recession,
2008?
Oh wait, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's been some years, and then he just went full time in with my brother to help him out. But but like a man wants to quit and come home and eat dinner with his family, but a man works throughout the whole night so he can take off early tomorrow to be at his son's baseball game.
Yeah.
Like my dad never tucked me in.
Yeah.
But he was at every single one of my baseball games.
Yeah, there's something
You know?
about that masculine quality. My grandfather on my dad's side of the family, he passed away, but he was a plumber, blue collar, work ethic, like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure didn't want to go to work most days.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for that. I didn't know him as well as I would have liked to, but
Right.
But yeah, we kind of lose some of that now. 2021, there's
For sure,
a lot
man.
of I don't know. I don't see a lot of these millennial Gen Zers becoming what you just described your father as.
It's hard.
It's
hard.
Like a millennial, like, oh my god.
Well, I also feel
I'm a piece of shit. The people coming after us are even bigger.
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I feel kind of weak just because I'm a sales guy anyway. Like
Yeah.
my job, it's a lot of the men couldn't be in sales,
Right.
but I do feel weaker that I'm not
Yeah,
working
you're
and
not
struggling
doing
and that kind of stuff. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah,
just natural.
It's just a different skill set, but it's
Yeah.
also like you can be a real piece of shit if you're
Yeah.
in sales.
I mean, my dad, very hard worker, machine shop, more blue collar. My uncle is I think he's like a regional or national sales director for a huge automotive company. Does great, right? But he's a man. Like something about his quality or his character makes him a man. You know,
Yeah.
I don't see him as weak just because he doesn't physically struggle with his hands every day.
Right.
You know, so I guess maybe it's just my perception of different roles or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, I respect it a lot too because I can't put myself in that place where I would. I don't know. There's just something that would be hard for me to just have a job, come home to a family. Like I don't know. There's something about that scares me a little bit. Like
Nothing wrong with that.
Like I ideally should get to that place. I think because I think there's a lot of meaning to be had in having your own family.
Certainly, yeah.
But
It's a great point. But I encourage you.
It's sacrifice because it's like you're thinking about other people.
Mhm.
So ultimately,
Well,
it's pretty selfish. living
I
this
want to
way, but-
encourage you to do everything that you want to do as David
Yeah.
before you sacrifice
Yeah, but it might be a
part of your time to set because you probably wouldn't move to New York City if your wife was in Greenville and you had 3 kids under the age of 5.
Right.
You probably wouldn't do these things.
Yeah.
So do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And so, like I was in a relationship from age 19 to 24.
Uh-huh.
And, I didn't do a lot of bullshit with the boys and I didn't go study abroad or whatever. Not that I could have, but I didn't do a lot of things as a kid. And now I feel like, well, it's kind of an opportunity. As heartbroken as I am, it's an opportunity
Right.
to travel by myself or do a different job if I want to move to a different city or try comedy and actually go full time in comedy if I want to.
Right.
Whereas if I were engaged, got married, and then had a kid in 2 years, I know for a fact I wouldn't have done comedy full time.
Right.
Unless, I got some crazy opportunity.
Right.
So I'm just using this as an opportunity, and I want you to. Let's just do everything we ever wanted to do.
Yeah. And hopefully you meet somebody on the way who's cool with that.
Yeah,
And drawn
absolutely.
to that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be happy to I don't know if you'd want a girl meeting you when you're unhappy.
That's a great point.
Like
That's a great point.
you're
Yeah, that's a good
weird,
point.
but
I'm okay with meeting you when you're unhappy because I'm glad we're buddies.
are we?
I mean, I thought we were buddies. Not really, honestly. I haven't worked my way up that ladder yet, but
Oh my gosh.
we're getting there,
No,
pal.
I'm just kidding. I agree.
Apparently you can have a threesome with someone that you're not friends with. That's great. What was his name?
So not to mention that.
What was his name?
The third guy? Bill Reiner? Bill would actually be cool with that.
Yeah. Bill's ass is nicer than most of the girls I've been with. Honestly.
There's that picture of you guys at the freaking Comedy Zone.
My first night.
Yeah. Your first night.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill's inclination in posing for the photo was to get on stage. All the comics are there. Bill just sticks his ass out there. Like the ambiguously gay guy that he is.
Right.
He's not gay.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but and then Jacob Noland's instinct is to mount him from
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. and grab them, hoist them.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
It was a good picture.
Yeah,
it's a good picture.
Still on Facebook. You want to check it out?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're almost at 2 hours.
Are we?
Yeah.
Really?
Hour 53.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Did it seem like shorter?
What's the record?
3 hours.
Fuck.
But I have to go to Columbia tonight.
No, dude. I was just curious what the record was. I
No.
don't want to be here another minute, honestly.
Yeah. Thank God.
How are you going to Columbia this late?
Well, it doesn't start till 8:30.
Yeah, but isn't it like 7?
No, it's 6:30.
Okay. All right,
So it's
cool.
an hour and a half. So you get there at 8.
Cool, man.
Or no, we can keep going a little bit. Damn it! What are I usually ask, what's the biggest dumpster fire story you ever have? Do you have one ready for that?
No.
No, think of
Not
one.
really.
Think of
I
one.
heard you say that on your episode with Ken. I'm like, a dumpster fire story.
Yeah, where like everything went wrong.
Everything went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, I appreciate you sharing the other stuff.
Right. So I was it happened recently. I was at an open mic, and I didn't perform. I just went to watch. And then me and a couple of the comics went to get a drink after the show, and David asked me to be on his podcast. Worst fucking thing that's ever happened. Man, a dumpster
Andy
fire
said
story?
yes, yeah.
A dumpster fire story? Gee. Everything went wrong. Man, I don't know.
Dude, this might be like a question I project onto other people because I have so many of my own.
I would
dumpster
like to
fires.
know what you're referring to. Like your girl from the wedding in New York. That's a dumpster fire story.
Horrible.
That's
I
a
tell
horrible
that
story.
I told that
on Ken's episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I don't know.
That gives
I
me
don't know.
anxiety.
I mean, this is kind of a selfish one, I guess, because I guess it kind of makes me look cool, but not really. The girl that I lost my virginity to,
Okay.
freshman year of college.
Okay.
So I had always wanted to wait until marriage
Okay.
to have sex.
Nice.
And so I always dated girls that felt the same way.
Right.
And it wasn't very hard because I thought they felt the same way, but really I just dated girls that didn't want to fuck me.
Yeah.
So I met this girl freshman year of college. Turns out she wanted to have sex with me. So it didn't last very long. And so we dated for a couple of weeks, and then it just kind of fizzled out. But I became really good friends with her best friend. And so that summer...
so you dated for a couple of weeks, you lost your virginity to her, and then it fizzled?
It just fizzled because she had this weird problem where she would go out with her friends and get drunk, and then she would think that I was at the bar and start making out with me. But it was actually just my friends.
Wait,
Also
she
known-
confused you for somebody else?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. She was a...
I'm an idiot. She was a who?
So I became friends with her best friend.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up needing to come to town where they were both lived at for a thing for school for that weekend.
Okay.
I wasn't going to ask my ex-girlfriend, so I asked the best friend.
Right.
She said, cool. Of course, we ended up hooking up, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't have a conscience then, so I was totally fine with this.
Right.
But the friend had a conscience.
Uh-huh.
And so we were trying to keep it sneaky, the whole shebang. But you're in the situation where you're in a room with two best friends that you've had sex with both of them, and one of them doesn't know it, right? And so, of course, we ended up continuing to hook up a couple of times, and then the ex found out. And now I don't care because I'm not with this girl. I'm definitely not with this girl. But then I ruined a friendship because of my selfishness. That's not a dumpster fire story at all. But I don't have any.
So your dumpster fire story, you hooked up with two girls
I'm a
that were
straight-
friends with each other?
Listen, I'm a straight
That's
white
the biggest
male.
dick dumpster fire story.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I hate this. But no. I'm a straight white male, which in 2021 I found out I could have just described myself as a piece of shit.
Yes.
But, I don't have any problems, man.
Yeah. That's good.
A dumpster fire story?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just never...
No, it's fine.
I'm sure.
You've had a good life.
I'm going to have one tonight, I'm sure.
Wait, what are you doing? Are you doing Columbia tonight?
I don't have any plans.
Oh, you don't have any plans?
I don't have any... Actually, I do. Me and Chris are hanging out.
Oh, nice.
Me and Chris Wilson, yep.
Okay. Good deal.
Yep.
What are you guys going to do?
I think we're going to do the usual, go out to eat, and then maybe bounce some ideas off each other.
This adult?
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
a man date. That's a manly thing to do.
Well, you've
I never do that.
Well, you've
I
learned
never
this.
do that shit.
You've learned this about me. I'm the opposite of your style. Like I don't like going to a crowded, loud bar because I'm going to be yelling at you the whole. I'm going to have a conversation.
I only like to do that after shows usually.
Right,
on the
right.
weekends.
Yeah, I would much rather sit down with a girl or guy
Have
Go to a
conversation.
restaurant or even a coffee shop if I was gay, but a restaurant, and just have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's my fun,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll jerk each other off in my car, depending on which side he's sitting on, because I know it depends.
With the dominant hand thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Or advice that stuck with you?
Man, I've been very fortunate that there's been a lot of good advice. Fuck. For sad times, I think that the best advice I've gotten is from Jim Carrey.
Ooh.
He said, depression is your body saying, fuck you, to the I'm tired of playing this character.
Yeah.
And you need to reset and become yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what depression is.
Uh-huh.
So that's my advice for the sad times.
Yeah.
But best advice I've ever gotten is, like you see these people that are doing these amazing things, whether it's, Robin Williams, best, one of the best comedians, or the best NASCAR driver, the best at sales, whatever it is, someone was a normal guy
Uh-huh.
when he was young, when he was your age.
Uh-huh.
So don't let anyone else tell you what your limitations are,
Yeah.
because I can only tell you what my limitations are. I don't know what David's capable of.
Right.
So I guess it's just listen to people, listen to people that are better than you, but don't let people tell you what you can't do.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah,
Kind
because,
of.
dude, some of these, Dave Chappelle wasn't always Dave Chappelle.
No.
Jim Carrey told an interviewer his dad could have been a great comedian.
Yeah.
He was
I've
but he
heard
got a
this interview,
safe job as an accountant,
which he ended up losing.
which he ended up losing.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey saw that
Yeah.
and said, "Fuck it, I'm going to take this step."
Right. What he said was, I thought was really powerful. He said, you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance doing something that you love.
That's exactly right.
So
that
that's
was
really
the exact
powerful
quote.
advice.
Yeah.
I've listened to that,
Mm-hmm.
and I do agree with that. And then depression. When he talks about that, your body saying, "Fuck you, I'm sick of playing this avatar." That's a really powerful statement.
Yeah.
Because so many people, like you do that. Everybody does that. You always do that to an extent. It's like
Of course.
the self you show to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually like a safe version.
Yeah.
And to the extent that you can let the real you come out without being afraid,
Mm-hmm.
that's when real crazy shit starts happening.
Yeah.
And in comedy, you know what it feels like. You get laughs, you get validation, you get people see it. The people see the light in you come out, and they're like, "Oh, like
Right.
you could just tell.
Yeah.
You could just tell."
Well, I think that something that
It's a
nice,
weird thing.
I think something that nice people have a problem with, or really caring people have a problem with. Some of the best people that I've known, they get really close to people very, very fast, and then the people drift away or they move away or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
And then the nice people think that's a reflection of them. Like, why does anyone want to be my friend for a long time? I think you need to appreciate time alone.
Yeah.
There's too many people that you have to be in a relationship. You have to be around friends. If my
Yeah,
friends
because
aren't
your
inviting
friends-
me every
yeah.
3 days to go do something, I'm a problem.
I'm a bad person.
I was in a wonderful relationship, and we had a great friend group.
Uh-huh.
People in that friend group attributed to something that broke my heart.
Uh-huh.
That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I'm a piece of shit.
Right.
That means that maybe they weren't my friends to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. That's just part of life.
Yeah.
I don't get invited to do a lot of stuff. It's very nice that you invite me to go downtown and stuff on the weekends, but I don't get invited to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that maybe I'm not a great person. I need to appreciate being time alone, and maybe I need to take this as an opportunity to grow myself.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean that I need to better myself so David will want to hang out with me every weekend. I just need to appreciate time with Jacob, because one day I won't have this opportunity to be alone.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true.
I don't know.
It's
It's just something
interesting
I'm thinking
too. Like
about.
when you're in tune with like who you are and you're on the right track, people are drawn to you.
That's
So
just
you
true.
do get invited more to stuff. I remember when I was in Atlanta, like my friend group was. I didn't really have one. I had like drinking buddies
Mhm.
and like just random associations of friends. I didn't have real friends, like
Mm.
because I was a shit show. Why should I have real friends? I
True.
had some work to. I should have spent more time alone and figuring shit out, and I did. I mean, it took a while, but
That's a great point.
because like your community will kind of tell you if you're on a good or bad path.
Yeah.
I don't like when it gets to the alcohol thing, and if you're surrounded with partiers and
Yeah.
just drinkers, and then like that's
Yeah, you're right.
you can surround yourself with like-minded people that are going down on the Titanic. Well, fuck it, like
Yeah.
you want to be going in a good direction.
Yeah. Well, like if these people only hang out with you whenever they want you to go to a bar with them, but they never want to come over to your house to play board games,
Right.
or they never want to go on a hike with you,
Yeah.
maybe you're just fucking drinking buddies.
Right. Exactly.
And you should take that as what they are pulling from you, not exactly what you're worth.
Right. No, you're worth a lot more.
You're
It's
an
just
amazing person.
you
You're a
just-
great friend, I'm sure. Not to me, but that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
If
yeah.
I see you in a different light, you know. So I mean, I don't have a friend group right now.
You don't?
I mean, no. Like
Well, you
I'm
do,
trying
comics.
I'm trying to become a part of the comedy group, and you guys have been very accepting. And I feel like maybe me and Chris are good friends, and you've been a good friend.
Yeah.
But as far as like a friend group outside of
Well, where you
people
from?
that I had,
Do you live here?
no, I'm from a little town about 2 hours away.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and I don't talk to anyone from high school. I don't talk to anyone from college,
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
things fizzle out.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just trying to. Since being single, I've been doing a lot of thinking about just being alone.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't need friends.
For sure.
I don't need everyone to love me or like
Yeah,
me.
yeah, totally.
I'm
totally.
going to go do comedy and try to make other people happy.
Comedy's a great place to make friends.
It's an amazing
Especially
place.
You come right
and
because you
and people with
it's
different
fun.
backgrounds. That's
Yeah.
the best part.
Yeah, such a
yeah.
random group. We went to SIP last night with
Mhm.
Bill, Amelia,
Yeah.
Chris, you and me.
Yeah.
Was anybody else there? I think it was just us. Yeah. I was like, what a random group. We were walking in there. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
this group of people would never.
No. My favorite thing
Crack me
is whenever my first example of that was when we went to Waffle House.
Oh yeah.
It was me, you, Tommy, his wife, I think Bill Reiner, and someone else. I think she was a cunt. And we looked at each other across the table and said, we would never hang out if it
No.
weren't for comedy.
It was different ages,
different
stages
ages,
of
different
life,
backgrounds, you know.
different backgrounds.
That's the best part about it. It really is.
Different sexual orientations.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but well, that's good, man. That's good. So we could probably wrap it up here because
Okay.
I hit the road. But
Thanks for the time, man.
Yeah,
I really
dude.
appreciate it.
Social media. Are you on Instagram?
No,
Yeah, you're one of those guys that's not really on it.
I know.
Facebook. You're on
Facebook. Jacob Noland. That's it.
Noland. Jacob
Noland.
Noland. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have anything else?
I do not. My OnlyFans is David's bitch 6969.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for the time, David. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no. Check Chris.
Check Chris.
You just said Chris. Check Jacob Noland out.
The fuck?
Thanks for the time, Chris.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Really enjoyed it.
no, you're seriously hilarious, dude, and you're so funny, like early on, and yeah, that's why yeah, keep doing stand up and check this dude out anytime you can. Open mics. Oh, and you have your first book show coming up. When is that?
The 15th. Very
Okay.
excited about that.
This probably won't come on before the 15th,
Right.
But there will be more book shows. I'm sure that you'll be doing.
Certainly.
So, yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.